Formula Drift. Join the social app for car enthusiasts. Show off your rides. Connect with Formula Drift drivers and fans. Find your crew. Locate events. Watch exclusive Formula Drift clips powered by Throttle. Join the social app that brings together car lovers from across the globe. Go full throttle and download the app now.
Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. 'Cause I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way. Yeah. I'm on the way. On the way. Yeah. I'm on the way. I'm on the way.
GT Radio. Experience ultra high performance.
At O'Reilly Auto Parts, we know how important it is for your car to look sharp and run well. And we're here to make that as simple as possible. Get all the parts, accessories, and tools you'll need for your next project delivered right to your doorstep. Just place your order online and leave the rest to us. You'll have everything you need at your door with free shipping the very next day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All top 32 competitors are ready to go at Worldwide Technology Raceway near St. Louis.
Take your best shot.
You hear the bells, they're singing because we are live from Worldwide Technology Raceway from Madison, Illinois, just in the shadow of the St. Louis Arch, the gateway to the west, the blue-collar city, home of Anheuser-Busch, and all things Midwest. Thank you so much for joining us out here as Worldwide Technology Raceway, playing host to round 3 of the Link Engine Management Prospec Championship, as well as round 5 of the Pro Championship. I'm going to push that way a little bit. There we go. As we are getting set to see our top 32 of our Pro Championship. And look at this track. I mean, playing host to, Cup, NASCAR Cup, IndyCar, and of course, to Formula Drift for numerous years. I'm Jared Deanna, and joining me up here in the booth. Nice air conditioning. It's hot out there. It's about 90 plus. But I'm Jared Deanna. This is Ryan Lontaine. Ryan, we saw some great and exciting Prospec earlier. We saw the win of Evan Bogovic. He's never been on I think he's been on the box, but not a win. Or no, he's never gotten second. So this is definitely the highest. And then Derek Madison wins in his own backyard. And yeah, look at this. High 101, low 80s tonight. And then we are getting kind of a stiff wind. It was definitely stiffer earlier, still blowing through right now, but it's definitely a hot day. That sun is blistering. So this is stop number 5. We had qualifying yesterday. Coming into today, we do have a top 32, and then we'll go into we'll have a halftime break, and then we go into top 16. So look at that. Number 1, Kazuya Taguchi, the best qualifying finish he's ever had, and it's that number 1 spot.
Yeah, he put down a heck of a run, Jared. It was very precise, a lot of lot of excitement in his run. It looked really powerful in a lot of different ways. The way he came through a lot of the zones, just grazed the wall there. Looked confident. He was on throttle where he needed to be. He decelled very minimally. And then you've got Mr. Pawlak right here doing a very decent job of getting around there as well.
His signature flick, I think that was really what we call the X factor. That kind of took it over the top, but he delivered. He ticked all the boxes. And Dylan Hughes has really stepped up. He's risen to the occasion, piloting that Royal Purple O'Reilly Auto Parts Falcon Tires BMW. Is it the combination of the Falcon tires wrapped around those Forge Star wheels? It's TBD. I mean, he drove really great in the wet. And then you got Matt Field, who leads the pack in the championship. Now, keep in mind, when he went to go take his first run, he was the first vehicle. And basically what happened is we let him rerun because the moisture, it felt dry at the start. It felt dry over at the scales. But where he actually rotated and hit the wall in outside zone 2, it seemed slick. So basically the panel, as you would call it, Ryan Sage, the race officials, everybody says, let's let him rerun. Because right after that, the second driver was able to have what we call a sight lap. So again, Aasbo, Forsberg, Tuerck, Denofa, Denofa did not, but Aasbo, Forsberg, and Tuerck, they did have sight laps. So they said, you know what? Let's go ahead and let Matt Field rerun again, and then he lands in the top 5 spot. So, we're looking at the current standings: Field, Aasbo, Forsberg, Tuerck, and Denofa. You're getting some news, some big news, a big update. Chris Forsberg. Yeah, something that was just brought to our attention by his spotter. He's third in the championship, as we just saw, and apparently he's out of competition today with some kind of serious mechanical failure. We don't know what it is. The spotter didn't even know what it was, but that's the news. Yeah, that's huge. So you take a look at that season schedule. Again, we have Seattle in just a few weeks. Then we go on to Utah and then Irwindale. And Fred, the big battle there's the battle of death. Let's just call it what it is, because you got Chelsea Denofa, who's top 5. You got Frederick Aasbo, who's second, and Ryan Tuerck Tuerck's in top 32. He goes against Joao Barion, but Chelsea Denofa and Frederick Aasbo go against each other. The winner of that battle goes against Ryan Tuerck. So you can see that bottom right-hand corner. So Aasbo and Denofa, the winner of that goes against either Ryan Tuerck or Joao Barion. Again, notably, you would, no offense to Joao, but, you can only tell the future by looking at the past. Ryan Tuerck is a fierce competitor. He won round 1 in Long Beach. Joao Barion, is definitely turning it up, but does he have enough to take out Ryan Tuerck? We'll see. But the big one to watch, Aasbo and Denofa, not only because 2 heavy hitters, 2-time champion of Frederick Aasbo, but they're definitely on it. So taking a look at all the points that are up at stake, you can see 191, 235, 17th and up. As we progress on through the day, we'll bring in another member of our broadcast team. That's Lorette Nickel, who's with JTP.
Jared, thank you very much. JTP qualified second. That is awesome, especially in this type of heat. You were telling me that the track temp is about 145 degrees. Inside of the car is 130. So how do you keep battling through that?
Just drink a lot of fluids. We kind of started drinking Pedialyte a couple years ago, and that really helps not get those water headaches and whatnot. But yeah, just I don't try to push it too much. Same with the car. Just run a couple laps, chill out for a bit. Run a couple laps, chill out. I mean, it's not fun, but I mean, we're here. We're trying to have the best time we can. Right, absolutely, and that's what I was going to ask you. How do you protect the car in temps like this? Fortunately, this car runs extremely cool. Well, we worked with PWR on the cooling system a couple years back, and they developed a heat exchanger and radiator for this thing that works tremendously. I mean, we're coming off the track at under 200 degrees on our engine temps. Our intake air temps come up a little bit, but then, we run ethanol, so that cools down the charge temps as soon as we're back on throttle. So when I'm rolling up to the line, the engine temps are low, the intake temps are low, and I don't know. It's just a testament to what we got going on in the cooling system. We do throw a little bit of water on it just to help the cooling, kind of bring it down faster. It's not really needed, but we're definitely not battling heat like some of these guys. Okay, perfect. JTP, thank you so much. We're going to see him on the right side of the brackets in top 32. Guys.
Thank you so much. And let's take a look at the Tuerck Drift course preview. 4 outside zones as Dylan Hughes takes us for a ride.
Yeah, looking at outside zone 1 here, really interesting spot lately. A lot of people are dropping tires just outside of that, causing that big brown cloud to go up. So we're going to be looking at that. Drivers need to get really deep in outside zone number 2 there. They need to get close to the wall, but not bury themselves in the wall. That's very important. Outside zone 3, you need to carry momentum from 2 to 3 and then transition the car nice and quick, get big angle through outside zone 4. The drivers that are doing it well, it's so obvious when they get it right. So that's what we're looking for throughout the course.
All right, there's that Tuerck Drift course preview. And if you have not downloaded the Tuerck Drift game, please do so. And we are taking a look at our momentum map, and what you're seeing are the outside zones, but those red and orange areas, that is the basically decel areas where you're allowed to decel. If you're going to decel, it has to be within those areas. If it's outside of those, you're going to be it's going to be reflected in the outcome.
Definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. That's where the chase drivers during tandem battles expect that the lead driver can slow down. It doesn't mean the lead driver has to, but that's where they might slow down. So that's where the chase drivers are on guard and thinking, okay, they might slow down here because they got to get around that corner, so they know to slow down themselves.
As we cross that start line, there's the start chicane. The chicane is intended to pair the cars up as they go and enter into that first outer zone. You can see the 3-2-1 cones. Want them to initiate, and we talk about that rate to angle and how you get to it. And talking about the rate to angle, keys to victory, courtesy of Permatex. Ryan.
Lead driver needs to have a quick and accurate initiation. Get that car to angle, get on throttle real quick in outside zone 1. They need to leave outside zone 1 where it ends. They should not overshoot it. If they leave it right on the end of the zone, it'll set them up properly for outside zone 2, which is important because you need to get in deep in outside zone 2 if you want to win your tandem battle. The chase car needs to maintain proximity. They need to mimic the lead driver's line, angle, and transition. So the chase car, stay close, mimic what the lead driver's doing. Stay on their line, mimic their angle, transitions. If you do that, you're going to have a good opportunity to move on.
You see it, you know it, you love it, you know what to do. If you're watching this, I assume you know a little bit of what's to be expected. But this is the essence of Formula Drift, the head-to-head battles. And our format today, again, we'll start with 32. We will have a halftime break. We'll introduce you to our top 16 drivers, and we'll find out who wins under the lights here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. A great venue. Thank you so much. As if you could see a little bit of clouds in the sky, but what you're going to see now is Aim High, courtesy of United States Air Force, the Aim High Trivia. Which airman does Mustache March honor? So I must ask you a question here. Which airman does Mustache March honor? Is it Bob Ross, Clark Gable, Chuck Norris, or Robin Olds? So again, Bob Ross, Clark Gable, Chuck Norris, or Robin Olds. Mustache March. Which airman does that honor? Courtesy of the United States Air Force, thank you for your support of what I think is the best country in the world, and of course, of Formula Drift. Go ahead and head into the description on where you're viewing the live stream, and look at that backdrop there. You can see the St. Louis Arch off in the distance as we're just across the Mississippi River. A beautiful backdrop. And we are striping the track, and we are getting ready to go. Thank you so much for joining us out here. When we come back, we'll be right back, and we'll go into our first battle of the top 32 here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, round 5, deemed the crossroads of the Formula Drift Pro Championship.
How does one car going wild in a mall help us tell the GR story?
You're right.
We need more cars.
GT Radio. Experience ultra high performance.
For those who don't settle when others do, who will
might give everything, but won't give up. For those who believe in unlimited, while others limit themselves. For those who are set free by performance and believe innovation can take you anywhere.
What's up, everybody? This is Travis Reeder. We're at Formula Drift Round 5 at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and this is your Type S course preview. So we put her in second gear. We go 2-3 through the chicane because we like to run a power glide. We knock the cones over so Sopa has to pick them up. Quick flick into outer zone 1, watch the grass so it doesn't drag you off into the wall. On throttle, cross the track to 2. This is a new zone for this year, so get you right up close to the wall and stand on the gas and drive yourself towards 3. 3 is a long one and get you pointed right towards 4, nice and sketchy, and then you back the car into 4, avoid the cones and stand on the throttle. Up the bank, hopefully you don't deviate a tire and rip past the fans. And that was your Type S course preview.
Well, there you have it, riding shotgun with Travis Reeder and that Link Engine Management BMW, but he's got that LS power plant, and you can see the hot pits over there. So let's throw it down to the hot pits, and Lorette Nickel is with the Walmart greeter. Hey, hi, how's it going? Falling prices everywhere.
Hello. He's so cool and calm and collected, this guy. So coming off of that win in New Jersey, we're here, St. Louis, amazing. Travis Reeder. Man, how do you keep that momentum going?
We definitely gained a lot of confidence in the team and the car after the last event. So we're feeling super good. The car is good here. This track caters to our car and my style of driving. So we came off a good event at Jersey, obviously, and then we come in here, we qualify good, and we still draw Odie in the 32. So it's still going to be a banger of a 32 battle, but we're having a lot of fun. The car's fast, and just keep the positivity and keep the momentum rolling.
Yeah, and going against Odie, who's a straight-up heads-up driver, what are your expectations there?
I mean, I want to say it's going to be a clean battle, but there's probably going to be some bumping, and so I have a feeling there's going to be either one of us going to win, and there's going to be some contact, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a good time.
Okay, Travis, thanks so much for your time, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Travis Reeder. He's from the Pacific Northwest. Also, my boys from the Pacific Northwest and Worldwide Calamari Airlines, flying higher than anybody else. That's right. Thank you guys for joining us and tuning in and watching. If you're watching from around the world, it might be Metalwood Studio in Los Angeles, anywhere. Regardless, hashtag FDSTL. Tag us at Formula D. Fans watching all across the globe, make sure that they know we are live from St. Louis. That's right. July 16th, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Just getting set for our first battle. Some fresh tire, some fuel in the tanks, and some nerves being settled as we will see our first battle here in just moments. Again, Ryan Lantain, my name is Jared Dienda. Our first battle will be our #1 qualifier. You can see Kazuya Taguchi there on the far side. Up garage, ISR Performance, Toyota 86, going against a classic Mark IV Toyota Supra. And there are our judges, Chris Yule, Ryan Lantain, Brian Eggert. Ryan Lantain comfortably up here while his other peers of Brian Eggert and Chris Yule have to stripe the track. And you've striped the track for numerous times and numerous years. So
I striped it earlier.
And you striped it
In the heat.
earlier.
I was out
don't
there.
get defensive, bro. I was elevating you.
Totally chill, man.
Everything.
I'm not defensive.
Hey man,
Hey
everything's.
man.
What'd you take in between lunch, though?
A nap.
Yeah. It's been a long. It's a long weekend. These 3 days, and we have qualifying on Thursday. Then yesterday we had top 32 for Prospec. We have pro qualifying, and then now going to this. So there's a lot of attrition, and you got to think about the teams. Evan Bogovic and Odi Bakchis, they're running 2 cars. The Forsberg team, they got Alex Jager and they have Chris Forsberg, and these are the Prospec highlights that we saw earlier. Dmitry Brutsky, and that is Derek Madison. Derek Madison leading. This is his home track. He comes out second place overall right here in the STL. Dmitry Brutsky, your 2-time and defending Formula Drift Prospec champion in the Drift HQ BMW. Now here's Bogovic, who eventually came out on top, that Pedal Commander S chassis, going against Derek Madison. Derek just didn't have what it takes to fire off, but Bogovic, it came all together for him, and even down just his wife, not here, his spotter, one of his teammates. They came down with the COVID, so they're home, steering clear. Thank you, appreciate that. Hope you get better soon, but overall some good driving in Prospec.
Absolutely, Jared. You can see how difficult the battle was. Bogovic was missing the rear 3/4 of his car, so
that tail light, that back section,
the whole section was gone, the trunk, but it was a hard-fought battle. He made it to the top.
These are the Prospec standings after the completion, and again, that's all unofficial, but Robert Thorne, Dmitry Brutsky, Evan Bogovic, Alex Jager sits in 4th, Derek Madison in 5th. So you can see 4 points behind. Brutsky is behind Robert Thorne. Bogovic there, 6 points behind. So it's
Utah's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah,
those
dude.
Points are so close.
Is there a barn in Utah?
Maybe. Well, we might burn it down.
We're gonna
if
break
it
one
is.
down.
Yeah, we're going to build it and then we'll burn it.
Okay. Hey, we're gonna. Okay, guess
burn
what?
it
Burn
down.
And then we're gonna raise the roof real quick.
But think about it. The 3rd place guy there is 6 points behind.
Yeah.
If he gets 1st place qualifier, let's say, that's 3 points.
Yep.
It takes him up a point above the 2nd place guy immediately. It's going to be awesome.
Look at all these legendary names. Most recently, Frederick Aasbo, that makes him a 2-time champ, 2015 to 2021. Von Gittin Jr., 2-time champ. James Dean, 3-time champ. Chris Forsberg, 3-time champ. Michael Essa won that independent year 2013. Daigo, Daijiro, and then early years, you got Faust, Hubinet, and Millen. So, all right. Let's talk and throw it down to our one and only Lorette Nickel. And we talk about the weather so much, but I got to bring it up right now because it is the Advanced Clutch Technology Track Condition Report with Lorette Nickel. Lorette?
Hey, Jared, thank you so much. We've been talking about the weather here because it is a huge factor. And one of the things I asked Matt Field about was what is the key to success out here in St. Louis? And he told me a solid lead run and not dropping a tire off the track. That's the key to success. Here, the edge of the track is right on the dirt. So if you're offline, everyone can see it. There's dirt flying. The judges have a great overall view of the track. So you have to be precisely online in the lead position. As a chase driver, Matt continued and said, if you don't fire in and get on the lead driver's door, you'll get left behind because everyone is gripped up to the max. And also, a lot of these drivers are approaching the top 32 with a lot of caution. They've had some overheating radiators, so they are gently walking towards that top 32 so that they can get into the top 16. Guys?
Thank you so much, Lorette. The track report brought to you by ACT Clutch. Be sure to check out ACT's all-new Mod Twin Clutch at advancedclutch.com. That's been our ACT track condition report with Lorette Nickel. Here is our Rockstar Energy Drink, Top 32 Rockstar Energy, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. Kazuya Taguchi, our #1 qualifier against Dan Burkett. Kazuya Taguchi, a lot of confidence coming in here as he is in a Pedal Commander burnout box. Why do you think it all came together for Taguchi here, Ryan? And did it suit his style? I feel like the cars, why do you think?
Well, sometimes things just come together on that one run that counts. You know, they do a dozen runs in pre-event day practice,
right.
And then in the practice they had this morning, they probably did another, 2, 3, 4 laps or something like that. And it all comes together for that qualifying lap. And you hope that if it's going to come together and you're going to have a burner of a lap, it's going to be that one for qualifying, right? And sometimes everything just works out. Car setup, driver mentality, headspace, all that stuff. It's just like, I'm going to do this. It's going to be great. And it is. And other times it's not. It just he just had the switch on at that time.
Yep, and what's interesting there is like maybe timing-wise where he was in the lineup. Like we said, coming out first, is that a gift? Is that a curse? Setting the bar, setting that example. It's kind of hard to just be like bang 100 points score out of the box. Has it happened ever? No, it really hasn't. I mean that first run, and that's like I said, that's a bit of a deficit. But Kazuya Taguchi, the stars aligned, got the #1 spot. So kudos to him. Hats off to him.
Do you think drivers count how many figure eights they do? It's like, okay, 1, 2, 3. Should I do 4 today or 5?
I think it's more feel. I think it's more butt feel.
So it's not like his spotter's like, okay, today you need to do 5 figure eights, 3 understeers, and then drive to the line.
I think it's a marriage of the tarmac and the tire. And feeling that, because obviously you'll see him scrub the front tires where they do that kind of oversteer and then kind of plow, and then they'll go the other way, plow, kind of warm them up, and then they'll go into and see what kind of grip where it kind of gets that side bite and tracks and goes forward. So
I was wondering if there's like a time.
There is time. Well, we do have a time.
There is a timer, but I mean, do they set themselves a time? It's like I need to do a certain amount at a certain RPM, because every driver has a little different style. If you watch the way that James Dean, for instance, did his burnouts, he would do this weird understeer thing, to an oversteer, to an understeer. It was very odd. I was in the car a couple of times when him and Piotr did that, and it's like, whoa, this is very disorienting.
Yeah, I think it's dealer's choice.
Yeah, the techniques and the tactics. It's interesting to
here
watch
we
that
go.
sometimes.
Place your bets. Speaking of dealer's choice, here we go. Kazuya Taguchi and Dan Burkett coming in the first outside zone. Kazuya Taguchi up garage. ISR performance. Ooh, Dan Burkett swings wide on that first outside zone. Let's see if that momentum of Kazuya Taguchi will continue. And look at that. It looks like the mummy is coming their way. And no, it just barely evades them as Kazuya Taguchi goes in that outside zone 4. Dan Burkett comes up a bit shy. And there we are.
All right, so let's look at this from the eye in the sky, Jared. Big initiation, okay initiation from Kazuya there. Looking at, in the chase position there, Dan Burkett made a big error. He was trying to go big. He was trying to be close, but it looked like he got too close there. And then looking outside zone 4, good job from Taguchi. Dan Burkett was not in the zone exactly there. He was off at a couple of spots, especially outside zone 4. So let's look at the speedy drone here. Dan Burkett gets in there, but gets a little too close and understeers, maybe straightens up slightly there. Doesn't fill outside zone 2, but Taguchi does. And Taguchi gets out to 3 pretty decently. Dan does a pretty good job in that spot, but then kind of goes a little wide before the transition and puts him on a poor line as he goes through outside zone 4.
And here we are. Going to change up the order. And see who comes out on top. So Dan Burkett has some work to do in that great looking Mark IV Supra. Rad Industries Gear Wrench Toyota Supra. GT radial tires, both these guys on GT radials. Kazuya Taguchi is going to chase him down. So he looks great as the Lone Ranger, but how's he going to do riding saddleback? Here we go. All right, Dan Burkett goes in that first outside zone. Kazuya Taguchi bathing in smoke. Looked like a Bath and Body Works and a bath bomb going off in his face. Now into that third outside zone and coming on in. It's that final outside zone. So Kazuya Taguchi comes up a bit short, but by comparison, unfortunately, Dan Burkett, I just think the mistakes were greater on the side of Burkett, unfortunately. And Kazuya Taguchi, keep in mind that #1 qualifier, so he's got the machismo, and he's feeling the flow. Ichiban.
All right, looking at it from the big drone, let's see the initiation from Burkett, pretty decent. Nice line through outside zone 1, and you can see there that Taguchi's doing a better job of mimicking what Dan's doing in the lead. Same thing for 2. I think Taguchi did slightly better in that area. He wasn't in the zone right away, but did get into it, whereas Burkett was not in it at all in his chase run. And then same thing for outside zone number 4. So looks like Taguchi did make less mistakes. As we watch this again here, let's look at the lead run. Specifically, I want to see exactly where Dan placed his car compared to what Taguchi did. So pretty decent run from Burkett in the lead so far. He's putting the car generally in the right places there. He left outside zone 3 a little bit early, and as he transitions for 4, leaves it very early. Yeah, so it's going to be some bigger errors there for Dan Burkett than we saw from Taguchi in his chase run.
Talked to Dan, and I apologize for the announcer's curse yesterday. He says, dude, it was all my bad. I just wasn't feeling it. But right now, unfortunately, Dan Burkett is knocked out. But Kazuya Taguchi continues on. Attaboy Taguchi. All right, let's throw it down real quick to Lorette Nickel, who's with 777 Matt Field.
Actually, with Odi Bakchis. And Odi, if we're looking at the qualifying list, it's unusual to see you qualified at 28th. So what happened there?
Yeah, very uncharacteristic. This is my first time having to do, I think, a second run and getting in the bottom 8. Well, what happened is on our first run, going into the burnout box, I felt the car breaking up, and it was really heartbreaking because I knew, like, I'm not going to waste my 5 minutes on a qualifying run. I needed that for competition. I went out and I turned the nitrous system off to just make it as safe as possible for the engine that's breaking up. Obviously something's wrong, and the car repeatedly turned off during that run. I just had to really manipulate the car to keep it at angle and just finish off the run to at least try to get a score on the board. I did get a score. It was a 72. Unfortunately, it was not enough to qualify me on the first go around, but thankfully we got this cool knockout qualifying format, so it gave me a second chance, and just lay down a safe conservative run on the second one, because that's not a time to try to prove something and zero out and be done for the day. So overall, very thankful we got the car resolved, though, because it is ripping now, and it went from absolutely undrivable to back to how it should be.
Odi, thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank you so much, Lorette Nickel. And Odi Bakchis we'll see in a little bit. But right now, a lot of fans watching Mike Power go against Adam LZ. Mike Power from New York. He's going against always a fan favorite, Adam LZ, in this AutoZone Ford Mustang RTR. Tried to leave the start line to pace it a little bit, but maybe jumped a little too early, and he is allowed to do that, FYI. Mike Power in that lead position. And look at Adam LZ bathing in that smoke once again. And wonder what that smoke is going to do to his line, and now transitioning into that final outside zone. Mike Power and then Adam LZ in tow. Let's take a look at this again here.
That was a really late transition for Adam LZ into outside zone number 4. It looked like he got just hung up a bit with the angle one way, and then took him a while to get it rotated. As we look, this view is, like you said, it's like a video game. So you get the cars initiated here in the lead position there. Power's doing a great job in outside zone 1. You can see that in the chase position. Maybe LZ got up on the rumble strip a little bit there, but it didn't seem to affect him too much. He's maintaining that proximity. He left outside zone 3 a little bit early, and that's that little hesitation on the transition from LZ. As we look at the speedy drone, right there, Adam LZ's doing a great job in outside zone 1 of mimicking what Power's doing in the lead. Yeah, he got the rumble strip there, but did manage to stay in proximity. Was offline slightly, but worked his way back again. LZ missed outside zone 3, and then there was that kind of held up transition there from LZ, but maintains proximity, was offline slightly because of that going into outside zone 4. But Power looked like he had a real clean lead run.
Now let's alternate order. Adam LZ will lead. Mike Power chasing him down in that S15. Adam LZ with his signature fade. The AutoZone RTR Spec 5D. Another fun haver. Expect a big styly run here from Adam LZ. I have a feeling that he's going to throw it down. Looks like we do have a restart. All right, looks like that will be a restart for Adam LZ. He'll pull up to the start line. Okay, you can see those lights in between. Our starter hits those. They illuminate once they extinguish. We're ready to go. Look for a big run here from Adam LZ. One of the fan favorites. The signature fade, about to fade into that first outside zone. Flirting with the dirt. Almost getting into the dirt, Adam LZ, but Mike Power tucks into that Nitto tire smoke. Adam LZ slaps that back RTR bumper, gets out of shape a little bit into outside zone 3, straightens out. Adam LZ looks like he's having some issues, taking that tighter line. And Mike Power follows him, and that's exactly what he needed to do. That bashing of that back bumper, like I said, I think he was going to go for it, going for the style, and unfortunately, that rear end has seen better days.
Yeah, Jared, so looking at the initiation here, LZ did a great job on outside zone 1. That tire was right on the edge of the pavement, right where it needed to be. Mike Power's right in the chase. Right here you can see that, yeah, LZ hit pretty hard. The car straightened almost completely there for a split second, and then he missed outside zone 3 because of the way his line got disrupted. And because of that, he was on a poor line approaching outside zone 4, couldn't get the car wrapped around in the right spot for outside zone 4, and instead of trying to put the car on the wall, he made the safe transition and stayed away from that wall, putting him, yeah, right there. Look at that hit. That was a pretty significant one. And I'm sure in the chase position, Power's thinking, oh, this is going to go in my favor. And right there, you can see that he totally missed in lead position outside zone number 4, and Power's just trying to keep that proximity despite the poor line from LZ in that point in the track.
He's got a lot of fans in his corner. That Mustang RTR Spec 5D of Adam LZ, always a fan favorite, but unfortunately, that hit on the wall and straightening and going offline, Adam LZ gets the loss, and Mike Power gets the win. Power will advance on. Adam LZ will have to park it. That's the end of his day. So a great showing there by Mike Power. And unfortunately, Adam LZ given a bit of gift as he went hard into the wall and knocks himself out. And here we are with Michael Essa and Yves Meyer. Michael Essa, former champ, piloting his FCP Euro, Liqui-Moly, Bilstein shock absorbers BMW. Yves Meyer with the Gazoo Racing Toyota Switzerland 86. Essa will lead. Yves Meyer will give chase. And we are ready to send cars. You can see all that rubber being laid down just right before that start line. And then here we go. Essa into that first outside zone. Yves Meyer not too far behind. That smoke playing a role. Going to that second outside zone, you can definitely get blinded by the smoke. And then into that third outside zone. Yves Meyer with a late transition, not setting himself up for success. You can see overshoots it, goes late into the outside zone, and overshoots it and goes into that finish line marker.
Yves was doing a great job early on there through zone 1 and 2. He looked like he was getting his car positioned well. Proximity was really strong. It was a good run in the chase, but it kind of fell apart near outside zone 4 for him. So Mike Essa there, nice and wide on zone 1. Yves Meyer just slightly inside, but in the box with his rear tire still. Same thing for outside zone number 2. Both drivers just a little bit off of one another there, but with Mike Essa doing the right thing. And then you can see that transition was a little bit slow, put himself on a weird line early on, which made him go wide later, ended up hitting that end of zone marker with the side of his car. You know, we're okay with the bumper hitting it as long as the tire's still on the track, but in that situation, the whole car, or half the car, sorry, was off the track there. 1 to potentially 2 tires off, and took out that cone. So again, the cone hit, not important. Placement of the car, that's what's important, and it looked like he was significantly off near the finish line.
And we are taking a look at these gentlemen pull back up to the start line. Let's see what Yves Meyer's got out front. He's going to get the clean air, the drone on the line. 2 battles in to the top 32. Taguchi and Power, who's moving on into the 16. Yves Meyer now out front, aggressive flick into the first outside zone. Michael Essa, definitely a good chaser. I mean, that's what took him to a championship. Oh, and as I say that, looks like he got aggressive and had to back off. He saw some corrections there from Michael Essa. Now look at this, Yves Meyer into that final outside zone, and Essa. Oh, was there contact?
It looked like there was a slight bump there.
Yeah.
Let's look at it from the drone, Jared.
Yep. Truth serum, baby. Drink it up. See your serum? I drink it up.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
If you could make your tire smell like something, what would you like? Like, you know, kind of
chocolate.
Chocolate.
All right, looking at Eve Meyer's initiation, that was a nice flick. Not as deep early on, but got a little bit deeper there near the end. Mike Essa doing a good job of mimicking. Right there, Mike Essa does some kind of weird over-rotation, slight over-rotation, gets him on a weird line, has to kind of back off a little bit, but gets back on it for the latter half of the course here. There was a little hit right at the rear of Eve Meyer's car, which is, of course, going to help him just rotate that a little bit more, and is going to cause him to spin as he goes over the finish line. So it's going to come down to fault in this situation, and let's see if we can see. Yeah, it looks like Essa was trying to catch up potentially from that earlier mishap, just at outside zone number 2. Looks like he was just trying to get in there. This is where it happened with Essa. It just looks like he over-rotated slightly there, caught it, got back on throttle, coming through outside zone 3, transitioning to 4 here, and just came in with too much momentum and hit Eve's rear tire, causing him to spin right there. As we've said before, anytime a driver is at fault for causing another driver to spin, that incomplete from the actual spin, the driver that spun, that is transferred to the driver at fault. So in this situation, I'm not sure how the other judges are looking at it, but I look at it as Mike Essa is at fault for Eve's spin. So because Eve was not at fault for that, he's going to move on.
Well, so there it is. Eve Meyer gets the win. And also, in addition to that, Essa had that mistake going in outside zone 2. And, that checked him up and messed himself up. So let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel, who's with our most recent winner, or just a win ago.
That's right. So, Mike Power, congratulations. You told me you're trying to keep it even-keeled. We have a long, hot day in front of us. So what are the steps that you take forward?
I really just try and focus on each battle. I think of every driver, everybody's a heavy hitter here. We just do our homework. The car's always on point. So like this whole week, the car's been amazing. It's really just come down to me as a driver doing the right thing on track. And, fortunately it worked out in the first battle with Adam LZ. I had a lot of fun, but now it's just reset and just get focused again, get the next battle out of the way, and just keep going. I want to be on track until the sun goes down, you know what I'm saying? I want to be on the box.
Yeah, absolutely. And his next battle is with Kazuya Taguchi. Guys?
All right, thank you so much. Good luck to you, Mike.
Comes that.
And let's see what we got here as Federico Sharifo and Daniel Stuke, who Stuke's currently sitting 10th coming to this round. What a great, not a surprise, but just a great, acknowledgement of his driving prowess. Federico Sharifo in the Ferrari chasing him down into that second outside zone, taking a shallower line, and Stuke, and you can see Fetty taking that way shallower line, but still kind of dials it back. Now coming in right in front of the judges in that last outside zone. Stuke does exceed that outside zone, getting into the striped area, which is no man's land. We don't want to see you go in there. Imagine where it's striped is actually the grass area. But Stuke goes a little bit further than he should have. But Fetty definitely not the most clinical line.
We'll have to check this out from the drone, Jared. If we have the drone, we'll see which camera views we have. Yes, we do. The big drone up in the sky. Okay, we're going to hit play here in a second, everyone. Stand by. All right, here we go.
There we go. And we are making sure we got the shot. Take a look at the instant replay. Tail of the tape. Fetty pulls up to the start line. The Fiorella. We're talking single turbo now. That I've seen many different iterations of that vehicle. Depends on Ferrari, but single turbo setup.
Yes. On the V12, the 599. Sounds awesome. So here we go. Looking at Stuke in the lead position, getting in outside zone 1, pretty deep there. Federico backs the car up a little bit, but kind of too late. He misses most of outside zone 1. Same thing for outside zone 2. Stuke does a good job there. Gets to outside zone 3 really well, right on the edge of the track there. So let's watch it again from the big drone. Stuke gets himself all the way to the outside edge there by the end of that zone. Federico's not really there, and then outside zone 2, looks like Stuke does a good job. Federico misses all of it. and then coming to outside zone number 4. Good transition. Maybe a little wall tap there from Stuke. Maybe just drops half a tire, maybe 3/4 of a tire over the line. But overall, a great run from Stuke in the lead position.
Like I said, it's no surprise that he's here, but it's good just that he's progressing, and that's what this year is all about. Just kind of, we've seen this in vert skateboarding. We've seen this in every sport. Just this kind of new tide, this new flow of new drivers that just have the confidence and just the stars align. That's what's happening with Daniel Stuke right now.
Yeah.
And we're taking a look at Federico Sharifo coming into. That's, man. I always, grimace. Oh, and look at this going from the windows to the walls. Then Stuke takes away shell line. He gets lost in the smoke. Has to back it up. You will find S chassis back it right up.
Oh
man,
geez.
What the heck? Zero
wow.
chill
He
post.
just drove into the back of that Ferrari after the finish line. Got a little excited
what happened there, buddy?
Got a little excited.
It's almost like the gas pedal got stuck. That was
you can
aggressive.
see that the front right of that car, or is it the front left?
It's that front right. The front right hit the back left of Fetty's car. That was wild.
That was wild.
It didn't seem like he did it. It seemed like the car kind of lunged forward or something happened. All right, let's take a look at the on-track action.
Yes, let's have a look
How
here.
weird.
Federico's Wild Stallion Fiorella in the lead position. Did a good job through outside zone 1. You can see as they transition here, Stuke's not on the right line through outside zone 2. Through outside zone 3, Federico drops the tire in the dirt. Stuke's there, transitions a little early. And then look at Federico in the lead. He kind of straightens as he's transitioning for outside zone 4 as well. And then this is where the issue occurred there.
Oof.
The front right rode right up on the left rear of Federico. So let's watch through 3. And I think Stuke gets lost in the smoke here, transitions too early. Federico, I think, was trying to avoid the wall there by not transitioning immediately. And then they come up here and bang. So look at the left rear of that Ferrari.
Jumped.
Oof.
I don't mean to make light of it, but pew. Yeah.
The amount of damage
He
to the
hit
left
switches,
rear,
dude.
That Ferrari is in rough shape now. That's an expensive hit. So look at Federico there. Goes straight for a kind of a second, and Stuke then comes in to join him on the line that he's drawing there.
So I think
all right. So
they push Stuke's car off track. I think
there's some oil spill.
There's
apparently.
oil, but what's interesting is they didn't have that contact till way down there. So that might have played a role. Maybe there's some of that Pennzoil that's on the track that may be caught, because you did see. I mean,
he was definitely on throttle because the wheels were spinning.
Stuke was on throttle, but you saw Fetty. He was drifting, kind of going through, and Stuke stayed on it too. When they hit was when Fetty came down, and Stuke was kind of still at angle. So it just got a little wonky. We're gonna have to, take a look at it again.
Yeah, this was so far beyond the finish line. We always tell the drivers in the lead, don't go full throttle, don't lift off and brake after the finish line, because you're gonna have a very eager chase driver right behind you. But in this situation, Stuke did not need to be on throttle that far beyond. Anyway, we've got a side-by-side coming here now to give us an idea of what happened on the actual run. I know we're focusing a lot on the post-finish line antics there, but let's analyze the difference here. Lead driver is pretty similar there. It looked like Federico in the chase was actually a little bit closer. They both did a decent job in the lead through outside zone 2. Neither one of them was in the zone in the chase position. And then right there, it looks like neither one of them is filling outside zone 2 very well in the chase position, but Stuke was definitely further inside than Federico was on his chase. This is an interesting turn of events, Jared.
Yeah, and there is oil down. Fortunately, it's from the finish line on. Yeah, we don't know whose car is what's going on. Just talking to the officials, just what's going on. We'll get Stuke's car pulled and off the course. All right, slide him left for Stuke, right for Federico Sharifo. And there's a one more time, so that's an OMT. So insult to injury, all that, not for nothing, but of course for no real outcome between Stuke and Sharifo. So wondering, you know, who was spilling oil? Was it Fetty or was it Stuke? Oh boy, yeah. So seems that Federico, so that might have played a role into, you know, not being able to stop and just running into him. So, all right, well, when we come back, the action continues here at Top 32 Worldwide Technology Raceway. Little track cleanup here on on lane 1, excuse me. But thanks for joining us out here, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship.
For those who don't settle when others do, who will give everything but won't give up. For those who believe in unlimited, while others limit themselves. For those who are set free by performance and believe innovation can take you anywhere.
The first time you try Pedal Commander, you'll feel oh yeah.
Stuke didn't lift off.
Then Rockstar Energy Drink. This Matt Wall, the twin turbo video. You see Tanner fast going through the paces. Solid line here. Great angle. Woo, good initiation from Dot. Did you see that fake flip entry? Just gangster right there.
Good job right there by Aasbo, but look at Odie Bakchis diving right in on the attacking positioning now.
Brian Turf really needs to show up. He went off course. Tightens up to the front clip. As is Freddie. The Norwegian hammer gets sweated by Denofa.
And then he just keeps on going past. Aasbo fills all that outside zone. Michael, that's a right there.
Look at him roll tide. Here we go. Pretty straight outside zone. Frederick Aasbo right there. And now bring around that final clip. Approaching, pulling some tire up.
So qualifying playing a role here in Long.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro Driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlick technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
Well, hey gang, down here in the hot pits, and you can see Fiorella down here. The bash bar came through the body panels, and Fede is running around the car. He's checking for other damage. I know that you guys had said that there was some oil on the track. The team hasn't found any oil leaks, and Fede, confusing moment for you with Daniel Stuke.
Yeah. It was kind of hurting that he actually hit me when we were like 300 feet after the finish line. I was really surprised about that, and I just saw quickly my performance. I'm surprised of the one more time, but I guess there is a reason for the one more time. But being hit like that after the finish line, it was a huge hit. He actually, I felt like getting lifted from the back, you know. Now we're checking the numerous damages that has been done. Yeah. I breathe. I go back in. I finish him, motorsport-wise, and go to the next battle.
Thank you for that smile, Fede. Guys.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Toyota, let's go places. Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, the synthetic expert. Rockstar, the official energy drink of Formula Drift.
Okay, well, that's as far as my brain let me go, all right? You got anything to add?
Sure. So, what do you do for transmission maintenance between rounds, or is there anything that you regularly break or have issues with?
With our transmissions we run, so this is a G-Force GSR. We run Andrews A431 4-speed in our comp car, so they're very similar, but they are a little bit different. So what we have found is that depending on the track, if you do like big wheel speed upshifts, like if you have to upshift, say at a track like Atlanta, like coming back down the keyhole, you're much more likely to miss a shift or skip the faces of the dog rings, and I'll show you exactly what that means right here. So this is a dog box 4-speed. So what it does is it has two shift forks that slide these back and forth to engage it into first or second, and then that one comes out, and then it will go third and fourth. So these are the dog rings right here. So what it does, when you take these cars and you put the clutch in, you bang it into gear. The bang it into gear is basically the dog rings engaging, and it stops all the rotating mass of all the gears. So, and when you're shifting, you can potentially skip those faces of those dog rings, like I was saying. So the dog rings are definitely something that we need to keep an eye on, because once you lose the taper on the edge of that dog ring, it's potential that it could pop out of gear, and obviously that's a very bad thing. So with these wheel speed upshifts on these certain tracks, it's something that we need to keep an eye on, and the whole transmission has to come apart to replace those. But luckily for us, a purpose-built race transmission is fairly easy to work on. If you look at this thing, there's not a whole lot going on in there, and it's kind of a miracle that it holds 1,000 wheel horsepower in my eyes. Keep an eye on the dog rings. There's a handcuff in the middle that basically holds the two shafts together, so that, because when you run a lot of torque through it, it will start to push those, it'll flex the shafts and pull them apart. So we got a handcuff in the middle. Those need to be replaced about every year. Besides that, man, these things are pretty freaking bomber. That's about all we got. And then once you drive a dog box, you never want to drive anything else ever, because they're the best. Besides the dog rings and then besides the handcuff once a year, that isn't that big of a deal. In between every single round, we swap the fluid in the transmission. And you'll notice that with these dog engages, especially if you zing the faces of those dog rings, you can kind of get a bunch of metal floating around in there, which is absolutely a bad thing. So we replace ours. We run 75 140 Royal Purple in our transmissions. We've had excellent luck with it. So every single round, differential, transmission, and engine all get brand new fluid. So that's definitely pretty important too.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in to Drift Prep.
And let's get back to the action.
What is going on, friends? I am so pumped. We have an amazing new high-performance EcoBoost Mustang RTR Spec 2 that we just built for our friends at BC Racing Custom Coilovers. We've been working with BC now for over 5 years. They've been around the RTR cars, and they had to have one. And so they sent us this EcoBoost high performance pack as a part of our new Built by RTR program, where we're building customer cars here at the lab. We built this Spec 2 for them. It is a 100% Spec 2. The only difference is that we put BC's BR series coilovers on it, and they option for the RTR leather interior. So they asked me if I would do a special break-in for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and badge this hot rod personally, and then we're gonna break it in the fun way. And approved, signed, sealed, almost delivered. Hope you guys enjoy it. Have fun. Be safe.
Here we are taking a look. All right, so Ryan, I'm gonna bring you in. There's a lot of conversation of what's going on here between Essa and Yves Meyer. What's the hubbub, bub?
Well, when we watched this initially, it looked like it was only 2 tires off, but the spotter said that there's a potential for 3 off before the finish line, which I don't see in this replay, but we're watching it over again to verify, to make certain that
reference on Yves, right? In
on
the chase
Yves,
car?
yeah, the black car in the chase position there. So he goes 1 tire, 2 tire, and the question is, did the 3rd tire go off track before the finish line? And we're using all of our replay angles here to see if that is indeed the case. So, in this situation, Mike Essa lost because he incompleted by hitting Yves on Yves' lead run. It's so hard to tell right there. Yeah, it's very, very close, but with the smoke, it's so difficult to be 100% certain. At the time, just kind of gave Yves the benefit of the doubt because we couldn't see, and it looks like even with super close inspection that we can't get a better answer of where that front right tire is.
I mean, if we're kind of, we utilize 3 strikes as far as, restarts, utilizing another stick and ball reference, tie goes to runner. So if in default, if there's no definitive decision in my eyes, like my without that being an issue, Michael Essa unfortunately lost. Yves Meyer gets the advancement. Mm-hmm. Taking a look at that, there's not enough definitive information to say that there were 3 off. That's if he's riding that line, 2 were definitely off, 3, just not enough conclusive information to make sure that Yves Meyer had 3 off. I don't know. Are you kind of on that same school?
Well,
thought?
that's what I was going with originally.
Yeah.
Is, we can't really be certain. And, when you get a protest or you get the potential of a protest from a team, you have to go and analyze a lot more closely. And upon closer inspection, we're exactly where we were before, unfortunately. Right. It's just the nature of the sport that we're involved in here that smoke can obstruct our view from time to time.
Absolutely.
That it seems to be what's happening here. And we did our best to get as much information as we could from the replay cameras that we had, and that's even with 2 separate drones in the air. So that smoke can really obscure what we're looking at.
So we are cleaning up a lot of oil that has been spread, and from what we understand, we believe it's from Federico Sharifo. Right now, pick up your Formula Drift gear if you haven't already in the building or at other events. We're at every event selling the merch, but also you could buy merch at shopfd.com. Go to shopfd.com, pick up your Formula Drift merch. You can see a few designs, and there's so many others, including hats, sweatshirts, skateboards, umbrellas, keychains, stickers, and if you buy gear now, go to shopfd.com. You got a little moment here. We're cleaning up the track. So go ahead. You'll receive complimentary sticker pack courtesy of Formula Drift. All right, let's talk about brought to us by Throttle. These are the finals in New Jersey. You can hear me yelling in the background. Take a look at this. And, Rome Charpentier, Travis Reeder, and here's 2 gentlemen who got on the box, fought tooth and nail, and Travis Reeder eventually came out on top. But I'll tell you what, both these guys gained a lot of fans after New Jersey. And, you know, the first ever purpose-built Drift Coliseum at E-Town, Englishtown Raceway Park. See Larry Chancellor and snap at the picks, and Travis Reeder came out on top. That was just such a fun event. Chelsea Denofa got the 3rd place spot. Rome Charpentier, you could see the smile even through his helmet. And Chelsea and Travis, you could see just the hugs all around, and you know, just the overall podium should really be celebrated, especially in New Jersey. And Reeder, just talk about another driver who has just progressed. You could just see so many people really ecstatic for Travis Reeder. So the Worldwide Technology Raceway team still cleaning up that oil from that finish line that we talked about. You know, some contact. It was way post the finish line, but the oil was already being thrown down. So Ryan Lontaine, before let's take another break. We'll be right back.
The first time you try Pedal Commander, you'll feel oh yeah.
Throttle, official sponsor of Formula Drift. Join the social app for car enthusiasts. Watch exclusive FD clips powered by Throttle. Join the social app that brings together car lovers from across the globe. Go full throttle and download the app now.
Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. 'Cause I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way.
Made in Japan. Breed.
Your future in high-performance motorsports begins at the University of Northwestern Ohio.
There is no other school like UNOH to teach you the things, not only for Monster Jam, but for the hot rod community.
With 70% hands-on learning, no out-of-state tuition, and top-of-the-line instructors, you'll go from learning to earning with the industry leader in motorsports education.
I love waking up to come to school.
This facility here has all the tools, instructors, and knowledge that you need to go out and be successful in the field.
Your journey to the fast lane begins at UNOH.
All right, well, the oil spill, Cadillac grills, Cadillac spills, right? Check out the oil my Cadillac spills. So thanks for joining us out here. We'll get back to the action. We'll tee it high and let it fly like Darren Howard at Metalwood Studio over there on La Brea. Check out my man D. Howard, Calamari Airlines, flying higher than anybody else. My man Hooligan Josh, Modernica. If you haven't found a seat, grab a Modernica seat, grab a seat, and watch the experience that is Formula Drift. But this is what unfolded, and this is what we're really analyzing here, talking about Yves Meyer in that chase position. Did he have 3 tires off? That would denote. So, again, you can see the finish line. That's the bold white line right there. So, and it seems like you could see that front left, but it's all about that front right on the other side. So, front right, obviously the rear 2 are off. And then you'll see that front right, does it? So again, what we're analyzing here, there is a protest going down. So Michael Essa finishes out, Yves Meyer. Well, it looks like the oil is cleaned up. So we got a rotary up in the building. The Lone Star, the last star fighter. This is Kyle Mohan, the Renewable Lubricants Mazda RX-8. He'll be, oh no, yeah, there we go. Going against Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay, 777, currently leading the Formula Drift points. So Matt Field qualifying 4th, Mohan qualifying 29th. And let's see, again, the course is cleaned up. And looks like we are ready to send it once again. D. Howard in the building. Thanks for tuning in. Watching all the way from Los Angeles. Hashtag FDSTL at Formula D. Check this out. Grab a Rockstar, grab a good time, grab a Modernica chair as we are ready to send it. Once again, Matt Field will be out front. Kyle Mohan in that chase position, analyzing different runs. But right now, the task at hand, Field and Mohan. The Beast of the Bay. Woo! Almost shots fired across the nose. Now coming to that first outside zone. Here comes Matt Field into that second outside zone. Bathing in that smoke once again is Kyle the Menace Mohan in the second outside zone. Now going to the third. Let's feel the flow. And that Corvette, the Falcon tires go round, wraps around those Forge Star wheels into that final outside zone. Momo suited and booted and crossing that finish line. The Renewable Lubricants stay within the vehicle. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Kyle. Let's make sure this. Keep the oil within your engine, kids. Let's just keep that locked and loaded, right?
No hitting each other.
No.
All right, looking at the eye in the sky here, we're going to look at. Looked like Kyle Mohan was playing with fire there at initiation, but he managed to stay out of Matt Field's way. And Matt Field here in the lead position is putting down a pretty solid lead run. It looks like Mohan is sort of making some compromises in a couple of areas. Not outside zone 3 though. His line wasn't too bad through there, but his proximity wasn't great. So seeing Mohan keep up a lot. Ooh, look at that. That was close. You can see that Mohan may have initiated slightly late, being way inside like that, but is doing his best to maintain proximity. While Matt Field is in outside zone 2, you can see Mohan is not getting the rear of his car in outside zone 2, but although he does get it into outside zone 3. Coming through outside zone 4, Mohan does back the car into that zone a little bit better through the second half of outside zone 4.
Now let's see how Kyle Mohan does. Keep in mind, Kyle Mohan qualifying 29th, Matt Field qualifying 4th. He is our current points leader. And again, all signs are saying that Matt Field should get this victory, but Kyle Mohan would love to play spoiler and continue on and really shake up that points leaderboard. Through that start chicane, no problem. And Matt Field in that chase position does hit a cone, but you are allowed to do that in that chase position. Now Mohan into that first outside zone. Now coming to the second outside zone, you can see Matt Field, almost gets to the side to him, but just does dial it back a little bit, doesn't burn the cake. And now coming into that final outside zone. Looks like Mohan does exceed it, but just barely by one of those tires, so not a big deal. Continuing on through the course.
I think Kyle Mohan maybe get a little wall tap there, did he, at outside zone number 2?
Yeah, it got a little hairy there.
Yeah, it got right in there. So let's watch this replay as we have the eye in the sky here. Good initiation from Kyle Mohan. Matt Field is off a little bit on outside zone 1. As we transition to 2, let's watch Kyle Mohan here. Yeah, a little rub on the wall, I think, from Kyle Mohan in the lead, and then Matt Field does gain some proximity and gets back on the right line through 2 and 3. As we transition for 4, you can see Matt Field getting his tire in the box right along with Kyle Mohan. So it looks like Field had a pretty solid chase run there. So let's watch right here from the eye in the sky. Mohan's in the box. Field is not as deep as we'd like to see him there in the chase position. But let's watch right there. Yeah, a little rub from Kyle Mohan. I think he lost the tail light there as he did that. But pretty solid lead run from Kyle Mohan.
Snapping some pictures in the drones like Paparazzi TMZ just outside that Metalwood studio. Cole got the glizzies in hand and getting snapped by the paps as Kyle Mohan and Matt Field waiting for the outcome. The Beast from the Bay and the Menace. Slide him left for Field, slide him right for Kyle Mohan. And Matt Field, the Beast in the Bay, our current points leader, feeling the heat wave as the party in Gilroy went down for Heat Wave, his sunglass sponsor. They had a great party here today, the Beach Bash. But Matt Field, the party continues for him here in St. Louis. Congratulations to Matt Field. Unfortunately, Kyle Mohan's day is done. So again, we do have the one more time of Stuke and Federico Sharifo. See Taylor Hull, full pull Hull. That comp cams. Edelbrock, Corvette. And as Taylor Hull picked up a new sponsor for this event and for the entirety of the season, you could see Jeff Jones, clean shaven. Taylor Hull with the full beard right there, picking up a new sponsor for his program. Talking about Wild Willie's. If you have not seen it, Wild Willie's got a bunch of beard stuff. Got some beard combs, some beard serum, even beard pills. Yeah, beard pills. Check them out, Wild Willie's. But of course, you got that of Jeff Jones, Evil Auto Works Nissan 370Z. Talking to Jeff Jones yesterday, says he's liking it. He's always just got, you know, even in the autograph sign, he's got a little speaker there. He's just always got a vibe going, man, and would love to see that vibe continue from the pits to the track. Jeff Jones out front. Goes across the nose of that Corvette of Taylor Hull, both of them in that first outside zone, now into the second. Coming now, you can see Jeff Jones very deep. Look at Taylor Hull's proximity. Good job getting into that pocket. Jeff Jones using all the course, barely knocking over that BC Racing clipping point into that final outside zone. Great battle there. That is a top-notch battle. That's like almost a grade 8-esque type battle, and here we are only in the 32. A lot of trials and tribulations already. We're spilling oil. We got protests. You know, we got a lot going on.
Yeah, and that was a great run there. It looked like Jeff Jones was comfortable. He was confident. He was on the throttle where he needed to be. Decelled in the right spots. Nice initiation here from Jeff Jones. Good flick. You can see Jeff deep in zone outside zone 1. Taylor Hull not in outside zone 1 with him. Again, Jeff Jones deep in 2. Taylor Hull just slightly in from where Jeff Jones was. A little bit better line through outside zone 3 from Taylor Hull. Jeff Jones putting his car in all the right places. Taylor Hull did better on the second part of that track in the chase position than he did on the first half. So let's watch this again. Great initiation from Jeff Jones. Like I said, very confident, on throttle where he needs to be, just putting the power down, getting himself decelled nicely for outside zone number 2. You can see it again there. Taylor Hull not quite in outside zone 2. Jeff Jones right on the outer edge of outside zone 3. Taylor Hull just slightly in from that. Outside zone 4, Taylor Hull did a much better job of getting on the right line through that whole zone to mimic what Jeff Jones was doing. So some compromises that were made by Taylor Hull in the chase. Jeff Jones now needs to do the same amount of proximity, but with less compromises to win the chase-to-chase comparison.
And you're saying the compromises were just kind of, he had the proximity, didn't mimic the angle and kind of slide back a little bit.
The line needed to be a little bit further back, right?
Okay.
He was just slightly inside, exactly. He was a little bit inside from where he should have been with the rear of his vehicle.
Ideal placement of the vehicle. Okay, so it looks like we will restart him.
Going down.
Rack them and stack them. That will be a cone down, so Taylor Hull, track 1. All right.
What was that first word?
Track
1.
Right. Yeah, it's called baseball. It's Americans.
Stick and ball,
America's
yes.
sport. America's pastime.
Stick and ball. We
Yep.
have baseball teams. Get out of here.
I don't know. I don't. Qu'est-ce que c'est baseball?
Qu'est-ce que c'est baseball? Oh, yeah, the Expos are long gone.
Yeah, exactly. The Blue Jays?
Blue Jays are still alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
still alive and kicking. It's a
favorite Canadian baseball team, go.
Blue Jays.
Okay, got it. Nailed it. Here we go. Taylor Hull will lead Jeff Jones giving chase. Taylor Hull, Comp Cams, Edelbrock, Yellow Speed Racing, Wild Willies, and you can see the Evil Auto Works, Nissan 370Z.
Oh, my goodness. That's another cone down.
Oh, boy. Taylor full
Give
pull
it to
Hull.
us. What is
Back
it?
to.
Back to.
All right, we'll see. You
No
know,
pressure.
Strike 3 and you're out, man. 3 strikes, you're out. We've only seen it twice. One was a Canadian, and the other one was
a Japanese.
A Japanese
in Japan,
driver.
it was.
In Japan, it was
Masuda, the Shark GZX90.
Oh, that's
that
right.
car was like
Oh,
10 feet wide. I don't know how it even fit through.
Who did it? Oh, that's right. Mohan did do. I'm sorry, I was calling names.
So it's 3 times?
Yeah. Here in Formula Drift in the States, it was done. Yeah.
But Mark Longerville did it once
Mark
at FD in Canada.
I called that, and Mohan got 3
and,
strikes.
yeah.
So basically, if a cone is hit or he leaves the start light without them all being extinguished, 3 strikes, and Taylor Hull will concede this run. So
yes,
Taylor, Cool the jets. You're all good. Just get through the start chicane. Don't hit a cone. We're all good.
Pressure
Here we
is
go.
on.
It's just roll through it. We're all good. Taylor Hull's got this.
There we go.
Clean start. Here we go. Taylor Hull, full pull into that first outside
Whoa.
zone. Look at Jeff Jones. Gets in that pocket. You're talking about compromises, and no, he gets in that pocket. Now goes in that second outside zone. Gets all the way out there. So does Jeff Jones into that third outside zone. Feeling the flow and going from that outside zone 2 into 4. Let's see how they drop in, and it looks like Jeff Jones.
Jeff Jones is hungry.
Yeah, I don't know if he had any lunch. He's drooling right now,
He
just
wants to
seething.
eat that
after.
Corvette.
Yeah, he's getting after it. I don't know which. Again, the red bandana Ninja Turtle, is that?
Raphael?
Raphael, I believe so. Here we go. Let's look at it again.
Yeah, Eye in the Sky is going to give us everything we need. Big initiation, okay initiation. He does pretty well in outside zone number 1. You can see Jeff Jones right there behind Hull. Jeff Jones gets in the box, not all the way in, but Hull isn't all the way in it either. Looking at where Jeff Jones is mimicking the line so well here while staying in proximity. Got in the box here as well. You know, chase to chase, I think Jeff Jones did a better job putting the car where it needed to be. So if we have an advantage, in my opinion, chase to chase, it comes down to who did a better job in the lead position, who placed their car in the more advantageous position, deeper in the zones. I think Jeff Jones did a deeper outside zone 3 for sure there. That's one that you can't debate. And you can see there, it looked like Taylor Hull was right on that line on outside zone number 4, potentially went slightly over, but I'm told by the man in my ear here that there is a side-by-side coming, so we're going to get to see these runs side-by-side to see who we think is going to have an advantage in both the lead and chase positions. And here it comes. So if you get one eye on each screen, everyone, let's watch the initiations. I think Jeff Jones had an advantage there on the initiation. It was very snappy. Proximity and the chase position, I think Jeff Jones has an advantage as he's close but not cheating or compromising anywhere on the track. You know, it's just a couple of spots that Taylor Hull did make those compromises, and you can see there that Jeff Jones was able to maintain that proximity all the way throughout without making many or any compromises, really. The line was really solid from start to finish in the chase position from Jeff Jones. And again, in the chase position, it looked like Taylor Hull made those compromises on line. In the lead position, it was pretty similar in terms of where the cars were placed. I can maybe point out a couple of areas where Jeff Jones did just slightly better. Outside zone 3 is one of those areas, and potentially outside zone number 1 as well.
All right, going to our judges. Looks like they are entering in the verdict here. And slide him left for Jones, right for Taylor Hull. We got a one more time for Jeff. Oh, look at that. Excuse me, a one more time and 2 votes for Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones gets the victory. And unfortunately, Taylor Hull knocked out in 32. A great effort. And his beard's looking good. And, of course, his performance just a bit outside. And you know what? Just going against a very, as you said, hungry Jeff Jones. And
yeah.
that's the equation and the formula for a good battle. But unfortunately, didn't work out for Taylor.
Yeah, but that's what you need to win, Jared, right there. Be on the right line with proximity, boom, in the chase position. It's going to give you a big advantage.
Well, congratulations, Jeff Jones. Unfortunately, Taylor Hull is done. Jeff moves on. Let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to grab Casey Cole, Prospec driver, and also working with Daniel Stuke. We saw some contact between him and Federico. What happened there?
So yeah, basically they finished the lap, and we kind of made sure that we want to have fun. We want to put on a show for everybody. So we kind of talked before and made sure everybody knew what was going to be happening. And we just thought we were going to go rip up towards the bank and put on a little show for the fans. And I guess Federico slowed down a bit more than Dan was expecting, and Dan drove to the back of his car after the line. It trashed the entire front right, trashed the back left, and the guys absolutely crushed it. We have basically 2 battles because of one more time was called. We got the car in here jammed, replaced both corners of the car, and didn't have to call our 5 minutes, and I guess Dan's on the line. So he says that it's not perfect, but it doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart, so what else can you ask for?
Yeah. Casey, thank you so much for your time, guys.
Oh, thank you. As Stuke is out on course right now, it's not going to fall apart, and we talk about just going out swinging. He's swinging for the fences, pulling all the way across. So as Casey Cole was rapping about that very driver, Stuke, you can see Federico, that back left corner, kind of battered and bruised. What are your thoughts about that kind of stance and what's going on in the repercussions?
Yeah, he said that they had talked beforehand. He'd want to put a show on for the fans and stay on throttle. And I get doing that, but you got to look ahead and see what's going on with the car ahead of you. You know, Federico was totally in his right to get the car straightened up there and lift off throttle, and they admitted, you know, they were doing something a little bit for the fans, and it just kind of fell apart a bit. But let's analyze this run here, Jared. As we get the cars initiated, you can see that was a little bit slower of initiation, and he wasn't fully in outside zone 1, but Federico was there with him. Federico transitioned a little too early there, then it looked like in the lead position that Stuke was about to go on the wall, but he kind of saved it. And then transitioning here for outside zone 4, Stuke was right on that outside line, whereas Federico was inside a little bit and didn't get all the way wide. So looking at our drone footage here, off in the distance, you can see the cars going through the course. And this is where Stuke did a great job in outside zone 4. Federico worked the car into the zone, but wasn't in it early on. So in the chase position there, Federico did leave a little bit of space between him and the wall and him and the outside of the course on a couple of occasions. Important ones, outside zone 2 and outside zone 4.
Now Fedi will lead Federico Sharifo in a vehicle he's deemed Fiorella. The Pennzoil. Let's keep that Pennzoil within the vehicle there, Fedi.
Yeah, it looks like that oil was already on the track from before.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that oil was nowhere near the line that either driver took as they completed the course. So the oil.
Who was it? Let's play.
I don't know. It
By
could have
deduction.
been. They said it could have even been from practice because that line of oil was a little bit low on the bank. And I went back through some replays of battles to see who went really low there. And it's kind of hard to see anybody doing a line that low where the oil was. So it just looks like it was something from an earlier run, potentially even all the way back to practice. Just that it was so low that nobody went over it potentially. So. Definitely not from either of these guys' run because neither one of them went that low where the oil is currently located or was located.
All right, here we go with Federico Sharifo after that first strike from Federico. And now we got a clean start. Fedi getting into that dirt again. He did that first battle.
Up on the rumble strip,
Up on the rumble strip, and Stuke shuts it down. Oh, man. I don't Stuke, yeah, he's don't know if he's got a mechanical issue, but Federico continues on through the course. He might be seeing top 16 competition. You know, not the prettiest run there by Federico. He gets it done, a good job there as he completes it. But Stuke,
that's a great view right there.
Oh man, it's
smoky out there, Jared.
Smoky out there. When Smokey sings, I hear a violin. Here we go.
All right. Hopefully this view will give us an indication of where it was specifically that Stuke shut down. So let's watch the initiation from Federico as he gets the car to angle, drops the tire in outside zone 1, and then Stuke just over-rotates the car right there and shuts it down at that point. So it's hard to say exactly what happened there, but if it was a mechanical thing or maybe it was power steering or something that it gave out on him and he just, you know, the car started to over-rotate and couldn't stop it. Right there.
Yeah, it looks
like
the
car went all the way to
more
lock.
angle at it.
Yeah.
So it might have been a suspension component that said nope, I'm gonna head out, and unfortunately, you need that.
Yes. Federico in the lead, completed his run. So with an incomplete from Stuke and a full pull from Federico, I think it's pretty safe to say that Federico is going to move on here right now.
I mean, you are a judge. You are 1/3 of that scenario.
I'm a 1/3, so my voice is not worth
if
the
if
entirety.
A judge trips and falls in a forest and no one's there to hear it, does anybody, does
care?
it make a noise?
No.
Does anybody?
Definitely not.
Yep. We could do that a couple more times and Family Guy fans would get that.
So look at the taillight on the right side. The left one's the one that got hit, but the right one's got a weird coloring on the Ferrari there.
Yeah.
You know, you have to think.
It's got a dilated pupil right there on that back right-hand side.
The driving level that Federico is at, his skill level, he's spent a lot of time with Team Orange in Japan driving. He's driven all over the world. It feels like this car is holding him back. It's a phenomenal car. It's beautiful. It sounds great, but in terms of performance and ability, it seems like the car is the thing that's holding him back from being truly successful here in Formula Drift. And I say that with the most respect for him and his efforts, but that's just how it feels.
Yeah.
So we're watching this again. I think a judge made a request. I think he's looking to see if maybe the tire drop slowed him down and caused the chase driver to over-rotate in that area. Pardon me?
And we are taking a look at that replay, and you can see, yeah, to that point, you know, you talk about Federico, and you know, unfortunately, you know, is this Ferrari is it gonna win? I think it's gonna win car show. It's gonna win sensationalism. It's gonna win all those things. But like you said, I think to find a more competitive car, I think that might benefit Federico, and I'd like to see him in a vehicle that could really. And even though so one for Stuke. Okay, all right. So Federico Sharifo. So Chris Yule, just wanted to make sure. So Chris Yule, going to you. You voted for Daniel Stuke. So Chris, if you'll explain why you went with Stuke.
It looks like Fetty was in outer one and he lifted while he was in the dirt, and Stuke's slowing up and he's at a pretty big angle, and then Fetty takes off and Stuke has nowhere to go, in my opinion.
Okay.
So
so kind of at that juncture, the run is over for Stuke. He really can't catch up.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That throws off the entirety of his
Yeah.
run.
Sure.
All right.
He has nowhere to go at that point.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So again, 2-1 outweighed there, but thank you, Chris Yule, for your insight. But regardless, 2-1, Federico does move on, and love to see those kind of contentious battles and justifications. I think that brings just the polarization to it, different perspectives, an unenviable position, but a necessary role in the Formula Drift Championship. So Travis Reeder backs it up. He warms up his tires. No standing burnouts there on the bank. And
come on now.
He rolled. He kind of rolled. He rolled. He definitely rolled.
Okay.
Yeah,
Keep saying that.
He rolled. Next up, Travis Reeder and Odi Bakchis. Reeder, who qualified 5th. Odi Bakchis, and he talked about this. His first run, not the greatest, but now he's back up and ready to swing. Right into that first outside zone. Travis Reeder, our most recent winner in New Jersey. Where's Odi? There's Odi. Up pop goes the Odi into that second outside zone. Odi, little shimming now into that third outside zone. Now bring it into that final. Both LS powered, and Odi Bakchis aggressive. Will that pay off?
Wow.
Wow. Odi is, we talk about this hungriness. Again, I don't know if these guys had lunch in between Prospec and now, but metaphorically, these guys are really going for it.
So looking at the way that Odi dove in there on outside zone 4 and got so close and the car started to rotate, but he managed to save it.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive to watch. So eye in the sky, great initiation from both drivers. You can see Odi might even be a little bit deeper in outside zone 1 than Reeder was. Right there with him though all the way through. Odi kind of over-rotates slightly at outside zone 2 and has to try to catch up here. And right here as they transition, he gets really close. Look at the way the car rotates, and he just gets back on throttle and stays with it all the way through that zone.
And here we are.
Uh-oh.
What's going on? Oh boy, that's Odi pulling off. Odi's talking about, you know, in his qualifying, having issues, shuts off his nitrous. Now here he is calling a comp timeout. So, and here's why you don't use your comp timeout in qualifying. Because if he would have used it on that first run, he would have to just run. So now temperature may be coming into play. We'll find out. His wife, Amy, his spotter, maybe give us some insight. But regardless, this is an NGK competition timeout. So NGK, the 5-minute allotment. So Odi has 5 minutes. Once he puts hands on the car, he has 5 minutes in order to fix the vehicle. If he can't get the car up and running, he will have to retire. Therefore, Travis Reeder, who is on the line, ready to rip. Again, our most recent winner in New Jersey. The variety, we've had 4 different rounds. This is round 5 of 8, and we've had 4 different winners. Round 1, we saw Ryan Tuerck. Round 2, Frederick Aasbo. Round 3, Dylan Hughes. And now Travis Reeder in round 4. Who's going to win here in St. Louis? TBD. NGK competition timeout being called by Odi Bakchis. NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Well, because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making a better coil. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance, and because we race to win, we continue to improve the design, testing, and validation for our ignition coils to make installation easier and performance better. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together. The hot pit is definitely just that, almost triple digits. I think it's coming down a little bit, but talking about coming down, these are the drivers that are continuing on. You can see the single yellow boxes: Kazuya Taguchi, Mike Power, Eve Meyer, Federico Sharifo, Matt Field, Jeff Jones. Right now, the double yellow box. That is the battle we're currently in, or we are to be seeing the second half of it. The remaining battles you can see over on the right-hand side. So you can see the clock ticking down, less than 5 minutes. 4:30 on the clock. Lorette Nickel is down there. You can see her, but we got racers ready to run. So taking a look at that suspension. Wheels are being popped off. So rarely do you see the front tires being changed. The rears are always being changed. Cars are on the line. We're moving on to our next heat. Nick Noback. Again, big Nickelback fan. Had no idea.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, look at this drift photograph.
When did you guys talk about this?
Simon Olsen is going to be chasing him down. Simon Olsen, he's got that Boost race fuel, a Norwegian drift champion coming us from Norway. Nick Noback coming us from Las Vegas. CoroWorks, GT Radial, BMW. Nick Noback, that big BMW. Nick Noback brings it on in. Nice job by Noback and Simon Olsen. Look, you can see that proximity, but doesn't get in that pocket. Looks like he's exceeding the BMW. Now coming into that last outside zone. You can see Noback right there. Again, this is reminiscent of, you know, many moons ago. Daigo Saito with that proximity, just nose in, but didn't get in that pocket. That's what the advancement of our scrutinization and your judging is looking like, and that's what we're expecting.
Yeah, I think we changed our expectations based on that driving. Nobody had really driven that way before in the series, and it kind of made us go, whoa, that's close, but not exactly ideal in terms of a chase position. So looking at the drone shot here, you can see Simon is not in outside zone 1. As they transition here, you can see in the lead position, Noback is getting the car positioned beautifully, and right there, did Simon straighten? That was either very, very low angle or potentially even straight through the outside zone 3, up to outside zone 3. And like you said, he has the proximity, but does he have the angle and the mimic of line that we're looking for?
All hands on deck. Lorette, down to you real quick. Lorette, what's up?
Hey, I'm sitting right here with Odie. Odie, what's happening?
So I gave Reader a little love tap on one of the zones. Yeah, just the front, Carlos. And after we went back to line back up, it felt like my steering wheel was off a little bit. I just don't want to leave anything up to chance. I got to lay down a really good lead run, so we have the 5-minute rule and making sure the car's 100%, so I feel 100% confidence in it.
Okay, Odie, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Lorette. Some great insight there from Odie Bakchis. They threw the hood back on, and just a quick little making sure it's 100%. So here we go. Let's alternate the order of Simon Olsen, that Boost race fuel. Great looking. Again, 2JZ under the hood. Compared to Frederick Aasbo, he's running the OE engine, far from OE, but the OE power plant, essentially stroked out fully. Papadakis, kind of the Grecian scientist, thank you. As Simon Olsen now comes in that second outside zone, and Nick Noback, he's bringing Nick Noback back. Hopefully he has his receipt. Otherwise he's going to get a store credit here. As Simon Olsen comes in that last outside zone, and Noback does have those 2 tires off, not 3. So imagine where that striped area is. If there was grass there, he would be throwing dirt. But overall, I think Nick Noback might have applied the pressure just enough, and Nick Noback on that chase position, just had too much kind of lack of
Simon,
I think. Yes. Simon did.
All right, looking at the eye in the sky as we get the cars initiated here. Noback gets nice and close. Simon's not in outside zone 1, and neither is Noback, and he doesn't need to be. He's following the line that Simon is laying down. Same thing for outside zone number 2. Simon is not getting in that zone, and neither is Noback, and Noback is right where he should be. He's doing exactly what he should in the chase position, mimicking the lead driver. Right there you see Simon dropping 1. I think it was 1 tire, maybe 2, through outside zone number 2. If Noback was with him, did a better job, I believe, of positioning his car through that zone and staying on the track as well. So as we watch this replay again, Simon even grabbed a handbrake there in outside zone 1, trying to get the car to move back a little bit potentially. And then we've got Simon missing outside zone 2 as well. But look at Noback right there with him, matching the angle, matching the line, doing a good job of positioning his car the way it should be. Yep. And when you looked at Simon's chase, he was close, but he was very, very low angle around the outside zone 3 area.
And Nick Noback locks it in for CoroWorks from Georgia. Shout out to Tyler and the gang. And CoroWorks, Elton, he's a rocket man, the mascot there for CoroWorks. And Noback advances on Unfortunately, Simon Olsen, who had a great qualifying run, he qualified 21st, but unfortunately just couldn't put it together. And I know he, they worked through the morning or through the night, all the way into the morning yesterday to get into qualifying, but unfortunately just not enough. So Odi Bakchis, so there is the winner, Travis Reeder, who won in New Jersey. Reeder sitting 7th in points. Odi Bakchis just behind him, 8th in points. So let's see what we got here.
Someone was calling Noback yes back online.
That's maybe back.
Maybe
I
back?
want my baby back, maybe back ribs. And Odi Bakchis will lead. Travis Reeder giving chase. Look at this, Nick Noback. He advances on to 16. He's going to go against one of these guys, Travis Reeder or Odi Bakchis. Odi Bakchis, Falcon Tires, Field Suspension, S15, Travis Reeder. Travis Reeder Motorsports and Link BMW in that first outside zone and into the second. And Odi talked about he needs the best car possible, and right now he's doing what we'd expect, but Reeder just with that first place finish in New Jersey in his back pocket, but he gets thrown off. And Odi Bakchis, so I would love to see that BC Racing side by side. I think that's going to be really telling of what transpired, because again, just we've already seen so many runs in between that.
Yeah, let's look at this replay, Jared. I'm interested to see from a different perspective how that outside zone 4 looked with Reeder going offline there. So as we have the big drone up in the sky here, decent initiation, and you can see that Travis dropped the tire there in outside zone number 1, but is maintaining proximity. He's not online at all, though, through outside zone number 2. I think dropping that tire put him on a weird line, and then he could not make it to outside zone 2 the way that Odi did. And then right there, Reeder definitely had an issue on the transition. He put himself in the wrong position, way inside on the track, and had an error there of poor angle as well.
All right, well, our judges are submitting their verdicts. Slide them left for Reeder or right for Odi Bakchis. And it looks like Odi Bakchis will get the win. So unfortunately, Travis Reeder's, reign of success will come to an end right here, but that will shake things up too in the championship, as Odi Bakchis was sitting 8th, Travis Reeder in 7th, with him surpassing Travis Reeder. And here is the bracket. We are halfway through the 32. No reason to have any pauses. Let's keep this party going, because we did have that little slowing up as JTP, Justin Pawlak, in his Falcon Tires Ford Mustang, going against the HyperNFT.io Dodge Viper of Dean Kearney. So that's how it's shaping up the top 16. You already see in Kazuya Taguchi versus Power, Eve Meyer versus Federico Sharifo, Matt Field versus Jeff Jones. And then you got Odi Bakchis versus Nick Noback. Justin Pawlak, Dean Kearney, All-American battle. You got American versus Dean Kearney. Justin Pawlak, our number 2 qualifier, going into Dean Kearney, who, again, another driver who unfortunately thrashed and had to work on his vehicle. Fortunately or unfortunately, fortunately got it together. Unfortunately, had to work on his vehicle the other night.
What happened to it?
Don't know exactly. I know he says, anybody, I think I did say, he said, anybody got any JB weld? And he was looking at his crank. It was like just loose in there. He was joking, but this guy, his team has worked feverishly hard. I mean, the team is called HyperNFT.io. It's all about taking cars into the metaverse, but also these guys are working hyper hard. They've been working really hard. And Justin Pawlak he was cool, man. He was confidently saying this car runs super cool temps under 200, which is really, really good. That's good. That's a great place to be, especially in these. Good. And talking about running the car cool, but right now Justin Pawlak, who qualified 2nd, is feeling good, feeling right. 2 a.m. summer night. And now Justin Pawlak will lead. Dean Kearney giving chase. And now into that first outside zone, and Dean Kearney, was there contact now?
Big contact.
Back up. Was there contact?
Big contact, yeah.
Oh, man, look at Okay, and Dean Kearney.
He hit him hard. Right here in this area.
Okay, you were outside zone 1. You were looking with your naked eye.
You were looking with your dressed eye.
I was looking with my dressed eye.
Yeah.
I was fully clothed, had my sunglasses on, had my stunner shades, had shutter shades. I brought those back. Kanye called. He wants them back.
You can
I
have
said
them.
no.
You said no.
I said good day.
Okay.
These are my,
this is my whole personality.
Yeah,
right
they
here.
look like the shingles on the side right there. The shutters.
So let's watch the replay. Oh, this eye in the sky will give us a
okay,
beautiful view here. Looked
Ready?
like Dean
Move.
Kearney came in pretty aggressively, right in the back.
Yep.
And you can see it overrode. Well, it just caused
little butt tap there.
Caused him to rotate a little bit more when he got hit. So let's look at the momentum of JTP in that scenario. It looks like Dean Kearney felt like, hey, I'm just going to keep going here.
Put it in the bag, then do the bag, bump, bump.
So here's another view.
Ready, bump, bump. Put the papers in the bag.
So you have to wonder why JTP shut it down right there. Was it a feeling that his car was damaged from the hit and he didn't want to keep drifting?
I think it was,
he
I
has
think
a
it was
debeated
more than
tire.
a feeling. It was more than a feeling. It was because of debeating a tire.
Okay. We're going to need to see that again. So it was a wheel-to-wheel hit, it seems, that debeated his tire. And you consider that it was the left rear tire that got debeated with the hit. As he transitioned the car to go to outside zone number 2, you're going up to a wall there. So that's a scary proposition going in there with a debeated tire if that's the case. And that could have been disastrous.
Yeah,
at
look
that
at that.
point.
You could see that Graham light 57. You could see right there, just inside that bead and where it's supposed to be seated.
All right, so we're going to watch this again and take a look at the momentum of JTP.
Doink. Oh, look at did Justin slow a considerable amount?
Well, yeah, there was no smoke coming off the tires, and it sort of looked like maybe he wasn't on throttle at that point in time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop you.
No,
Because
go ahead.
I think it's a good opportunity to bring up the momentum map for reference.
Sure.
So there are, again, areas where you're allowed to decel. And Justin, is known for that snappy transition going from 1 to 2, but going into number 1, I would love to see that again. And again, the smoke trail is not indicative of essentially, momentum or whatever, but it's telling of obviously not spinning the tires.
Right. It's a telling of the throttle not being applied. Generally, when people get on throttle through that zone, you see smoke coming up off the tires. We would expect a lead car to get on throttle in the zone at that point in time.
So waiting for the outcome here, Matt Sopa in between two cars. Loving just the sleek, mean black look of the Dodge Viper. It just looks probably the most menacing livery, Dean, to you and your team. Looks the most menacing and really popping of those lines and popping of the logos. And Hyper NFT says we want to be the only logo on the car, and that's exactly what they got. And
they bought the whole thing.
Yeah.
The owners of Hyper NFT came to our Hypercar Invitational event.
That's
drove.
right.
They had some Koenigsegg Agera RS. I'm trying to remember the specific. There was they have names. There's like not Thor because that's the old one,
right?
But they have names. I can't remember which one. They had two of them there.
I feel like
Phenomenal.
if I say that car's name, I have to pay $5.
Every time you say it,
that's how expensive that car is.
Koenigsegg, cha-ching.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the guy just dropped into my DMs in my Venmo, and I got to pay him all of a sudden just because I said Koenigsegg.
Money owed.
Koenigsegg has one of the coolest exhausts, like those 4 pipes out of that center. I've always loved that out of the OGs. I remember Koenigsegg's early on of like Gumball 3000 when I did the rally 5 times. And early on, like 03, 05, 04, they had a few that did. And I always liked those cars. The way the door opened was kind of very unique.
Yeah, I got to drive an original Koenigsegg. It's silver, manual during the Hypercar event. And just getting in and out of it's an event. Starting it's an event. You have the key. You got to push certain buttons in sequence on that
down,
circular.
down, left, right.
Kind of like that,
Yeah,
the circular pad. Pretty wild. Yeah.
All right, well, we got one portion of this battle in. Contact was made, debeating tire. We'll find out. Again, I have to assume, did you guys come to a conclusion who was at fault?
At fault, Justin Pawlak.
Justin Pawlak is at fault?
Yes, for not getting on throttle in outside zone 1.
Okay, so Justin Pawlak did not. So you're saying reason being, again, you said because he slowed into outside zone 1.
Well, it's not that he slowed, it's that he did not get on throttle where he was supposed to, so he was kind of coasting through that area, which I guess would theoretically mean he was slowing because he was not on throttle, and it's an on throttle area to get through zone 1 to zone 2.
So in order for Justin to replace that debeated tire, he has called competition timeout.
Yes, I believe that is what's happening right now, and you can see right there, nothing, boom, and then smoke.
Dean has nowhere to go. He goes inside of him. Contact was made, and it could be, regardless, he will change his rear tires. I assume that Dean will be allowed to change his rear tires if Justin changes his as well.
Yeah, the rules are written in a way that allow for a tire change and a deep beat if there's a contact with either course abnormality, let's say, like a rumble strip or a wall or something like that, or potentially with contact with another vehicle as well. So Kevin's in there talking to him now, trying to get a feel for what's going on, and I'm sure he's letting him know what the rules are as well.
Kevin, our race official down there. Technical director. Seeing what's transpiring here. That is Josh Love, After Hours Auto Sports, a new sponsor for him, Jasper Keys, new clothing brand, picking that up. Blackheart, Josh Love. Fire on the mountain, baby. Big deadhead, that Josh Love guy. Wataru Masuyama, the Buy Now Japan Sylvia S15. Masuyama.
He was on my flight on the way here, sitting in first class with the eye shades on, laying back.
Oh, like
don't talk
the blinders.
To me. Yeah, don't talk to me.
I can't wear
VIP,
those.
Masuyama.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
He looked very posh up there.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right, here we go. The lights are illuminating. When they extinguish, Masuyama will lead. Love will give chase. Love's always chasing him down.
Love will find a way.
Love will. Well done. Masuyama into that first outside zone, going to that second outside zone. Josh Love comes out of the smoke. And heroes don't look back. Look at that. Into that third outside zone. Masuyama just seems like a different driver here this weekend. Remember, he did call his competition timeout during qualifying. Remember that? So
good memory, Jared.
Yeah, the Jasper Keys BMW of Josh Love. Going to swing around that cone and bring it on back. Love will find the way. Well done.
All right, looking up from the big drone, looking down at me from the big drone. Good initiation by Masuyama there. You can see Love just slightly inside, transitioning to zone 2. Masuyama in the box. He was slightly early, but Love not in the box at all. So definitely leaving some opportunity there for Masuyama. As they transition towards 4, Masuyama was in it, and then he left it. He wasn't in there all the way. Like, he started out strong, and I thought, oh, that's a great line, and then he sort of went inside a little bit. Wasn't really where his car should be positioned, but if you look at Love's positioning, outside zone 2, that's a big miss right there. You need to have the similar line to the lead car. And right here, Love is not in outside zone 2 in the beginning, or sorry, 4 in the beginning, but works his way into it while Masuyama's in it early and then leaves it kind of early. So their lines did not match up through that area either.
We are more than halfway through our top 32. Our top 32 deemed the K&N, or excuse me, the Rockstar Energy Drink, top 32. Rockstar Energy, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. And here we go. Now, Josh Love out front, Jasper Keys, After Hours Auto Sports. BMW taking out that BC Racing Clip into that second outside zone. A lot deeper now, getting that fresh air out front. Again, paint his car black. Gonna paint it black. Into that last outside zone. What do you got? Masuyama getting aggressive, but just kind of a straight line to the side of the car. Didn't drop in and get into formation. Again, he went to the danger zone, but not all the way. Kind of like the, okay, like, I'm gonna tread lightly zone.
The light danger zone. Mm-hmm. So the comparison now, lead to lead, chase to chase. How did Love's lead compare to Masuyama's lead? So let's have a look at the eye in the sky. Nice outside zone 1 from both drivers. Looked like Masuyama was really mimicking well. Outside zone 2, same thing. Masuyama left slightly earlier, but not by a lot in outside zone number 2. Outside zone 3, Love drops a tire. And right here in zone 4, Masuyama does compromise his line to earn that proximity at the end of about the middle of outside zone 4 through to the finish of outside zone 4. So definitely made some compromises. in a couple of areas, not too aggressively though. You could see that in outside zone number 2, Masuyama was strong at the beginning of it and then sort of went in a little bit, but I think Love even left it slightly early too, but I think Masuyama was just like slightly earlier leaving there. But proximity was good for Masuyama, and I think his mimic was pretty solid.
An interesting one to unfold here for Masuyama and Josh Love. Again, Josh Love, a new sponsor. Jasper Keys still rocking the Big Duck Club. He's joining that quack quack. Masuyama or Love, who's going to advance on and slide him left for Wataru Masuyama. Unfortunately, Josh Love knocked out, but we will see you, homeboy, in Utah. Masuyama will see you in top 16. Masuyama in the Buy Now Japan S15 advances on, going against either JTP or Dean Kearney. Next up, looks like we're going to be seeing Kenshiro Gushi. His Threes Racing Toyota GR86, running that turbocharged V6. And that is Ryan Litteral, Power Stop Brakes, GT Radial, RB powered S15. Always a great looking car, super steezy. It's about to get lit. Ryan Litteral. You can see Ken Gushi's new whip. He's got a new ride. Joined us last round. Ken Gushi, Ryan Litteral. Ken Gushi, a day one or 19 years he's been competing in the Formula Drift Championship. Him and Chris Forsberg, the lone drivers, day oneers. Jason and the Reese Conklin. The Conklins watching at home. What's new, Pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ken Gushi will lead. Ryan Litteral will give chase. Let everybody know you're watching at Formula D, hashtag FDSTL. Kenshiro Gushi, thumbs up from these two cherry bombs. What do you got, Ken Gushi, Ryan Litteral? Cherry bomb as both of them go into that first outside zone, into the second outside zone. Ken Gushi, Ryan Litteral taking that very shallow line into that third outside zone. And now into that final outside zone. Litteral drops into formation, but very late, unfortunately for Litteral.
I'm hoping for a different view of outside zone 2 area. It looked like the line was off for Litteral, but I'm worried more about the angle through that area. So let's look at it from the big drone up in the sky. Nice initiation there from Gushi in outside zone 1. Litteral missing outside zone 1 in the chase position right there. A couple of bobbles from Litteral, not fully straight, but not really a high level of angle. Gushi's doing a great job zone 2 and 3, and then into zone 4 as well. Litteral does compromise slightly on the line early on, but gets on the right line right behind Gushi through the second half of outside zone number 4.
Litteral will now go out front. Yeah, some just kind of getting offline, getting out of shape. Litteral really needs to put it in all the right places. And, you know, just with the debut of a new car, Litteral's been having a lot of gremlins with his vehicle, but Gushi debuting his car at round 2 in Atlanta seems like he's getting pace. He says he's loving the car, feeling it. Just overall, it seems like he's syncing with it, but there's kind of those moments of greatness, and then there's kind of where he gets hit, to be quite honest, as well.
He looks way more comfortable in the GR than he did in the Supra, to be honest. Like right out of the bat, it just looked like he was more comfortable in the car, and it worked better for him.
Here we go, Ryan Litteral out front. Power stop, brakes, S15. Oh, look at that.
That's nice.
Yeah, very well done. Getting that big angle from Litteral, and you saw that angle, had to straighten up. Gushi almost, that could have been really violent, but Litteral into that last outside zone, bringing it across the finish line. So you saw Litteral try to get nasty with it, but it ended up just biting him on that second outside zone. That felt like what Justin Pawlak does, just get that nasty flick, but it gripped up and ripped him.
All right, our replay in the sky is going to give us all the info that we need. Looking at the initiation from Gushi, or sorry, from Litteral in the lead position there. Decent initiation, midline through outside zone number 1. But the big story here is outside zone 2, where Litteral gets the car to angle, kind of stalls up, loses angle, gets back on throttle. Gushi magically in the chase position somehow manages to stay at angle, not hit Litteral, and get back on throttle and gain proximity back without making any sacrifices. So that was an amazing effort from Gushi in the chase position. I think he did an amazing job of not, first of all, making contact with Litteral, staying in drift. You know, he had a low angle moment right there after Litteral did so first. He's mimicking him really well, getting him back online, getting back on throttle, getting back on proximity real fast. So kudos to Ken Gushi for adapting so well in the chase position there.
Magical Gooshlicious. And here we go, slide him left for Gushi, right for Ryan Litteral, and Kenshiro Gushi gets the win, advancing on. Gushi will go against either Jonathan Hurst or Chris Forsberg, and I believe we know the outcome there because we did hear the murmurs of Chris Forsberg having to retire, and that was via his spotter. Oh, wow. So they are calling a competition. It looks like next up, so I believe we should be seeing, right now I'm seeing off in the distance, is that Pawlak and Kearney. There's Ryan Litteral's back bumper. Let's take a look at the overall bracket here. The overall bracket, you could see all of the vehicles with, so you can see Justin Pawlak and Dean Kearney. That is TBD, that is to be decided. We have the one half of that battle where Justin Pawlak was deemed at fault, did not get on throttle in the first outside zone. He's using that competition timeout. Forsberg is actually, we are hearing that Forsberg might actually be ready. He's not.
No way.
So
it's running, they fixed the problem.
Yeah, I'm hearing that he could be back.
Wow.
Yeah, his spotter. I mean, yeah, we started out on the front end of the show, Ryan. You said that the spotter came up, Forsberg's spotter came up to you and said, hey, he's out. That's a scratch. He gave him the throat chop.
Yep.
But we're hearing that he's back.
Well, they maybe called it a little too early. Then, yeah, the spotter should have maybe held off a little bit longer on saying anything potentially if it wasn't 100%. But maybe he was told to say something. So they kept working on the car and something came together for them.
That's good. So with him not running, would that mean that he did use his competition timeout, or did he not? Okay, wow. So it looks like Forsberg is making his way over to the hot pits, because the hot pits are in the center of the course, very close to where the burnout box is. So, and then their actual big pits are outside of the track. So they have a long way to go, make it over to the hot pits area. Ryan Litteral is going to get towed off here. And right now, again, Litteral being towed off. And then we will be seeing next Dylan Hughes and Ola Yeager. And Dylan Hughes already on the start line. Dylan Hughes, winner in round 3 in Orlando. And now pulling up, we are seeing Dylan Hughes and Ola Yeager. They're pulling up to the start line. And here it is. And that Rockstar Energy Drink Top 32. Dylan Hughes, that Royal Purple O'Reilly Auto Parts Rain-X Permatex. Dylan Hughes, BMW. Then Ola Yeager. Ola Yeager in the Japan Auto Toyota Supra. Dylan Hughes qualifying 3rd. Ola Yeager qualifying 30th. And here comes Dylan Hughes. into that first outside zone. Look at Dylan using all of the course. Ola Jaeger not as deep as Hughes now into that second outside zone. You can see Dylan thrashing into that second outside zone, flowing. He talked about this yesterday, going 2 to 4. 3 just happens to be there. Oh man, but he goes really deep. It's that final outside zone.
That was a clear 2 wheels off.
Yeah.
In outside zone 4 for Dylan Hughes. Yeah.
So let's take a look at it again. He really was dialed on zones 1 through 3, but 4 just kind of overcooked it. And again, keep in mind that striped area would be considered off course.
All right, so as we watch the initiation from Dylan Hughes, let's look at the rotation. Pretty decent, nice line through there as well. You can see Ola Jaeger in the chase position, not quite filling outside zone 1 the way that Dylan did. Same thing goes for outside zone number 2. Dylan did a pretty good job there, but Ola did not get out to outside zone number 2. And between outside zone 2 and 3, Ola had an angle adjustment there, and his line was not ideal. But Dylan goes 2 tires off in outside zone number 4, being a little too aggressive as he entered that zone. We'd like to see him stay within the confines of the track a little bit more, but did drop those 2 tires there. Now, is that going to have a big effect as we go into Ula's lead run? Ula will need to fill the zones just as well as Dylan Hughes did in his lead without going 2 tires off in zone 4 to have an advantage lead to lead. In the chase position now, what we need from Dylan is close proximity with Mimic online. That's what Ula was missing in his chase run. He was not going deep in the zones, especially 1 and 2. Had that angle issue from 2 to 3, and then not really filling 3 either. So Dylan does have some big opportunities in the chase here. He needs to stick it to Ula's door.
Big deep breath for Dylan Hughes. Ola Jaeger needs to throw down a gangster line. He knows he's going against Dylan Hughes, who did get the victory in a very wet Orlando. Now into that second outside zone goes Ola Jaeger, and Dylan Hughes at this point needs to be a little bit closer. And Ola Jaeger looks like he's filling all those outside zones. Dylan Hughes goes for the attack on that last outside zone, and he does a very similar line to what he did in the lead position. So don't know if Dylan is, just not seeing that. I mean, that white line has definitely been eliminated on that outside zone 4. It's hard to see, but you still got to reference it.
And you still have to follow what the lead driver's doing as well. So as we look at the big drone, look at the initiation here from Ula. A little bit stepped, slightly stepped, not as deep as Dylan was on his lead run in outside zone 1. Outside zone 2, again, Ula's missing most of outside zone number 2. Dylan's right there with him. Great proximity, great mimic from Dylan. Look at how well he's matching the line, the angle. Right here, he just overshoots slightly. I mean, it was 2 tires. Maybe the left rear was on the line. But, you have to look at overall who did a better job in both positions. And is that couple of tires off in zone 4 enough to give Ula the win despite his errors that he did throughout the majority of the course? So we've had a request for side-by-side, and we're going to see if we can get one of those up here right now. Hopefully our man Kemp down on the ground can give it to us. That would be a great assistance here to see exactly what occurred between both drivers from start to finish, side-by-side.
You can see these bumpers being shredded on that outside zone 2. Trying to get a verdict here. Dylan Hughes, again, exceeding it, but it's really going to come down to collectively hitting all of those clips. We saw the proximity that Dylan did have. Ula was close. Was he mimicking the line exactly? Not exactly, but here, let's look at our BC Racing side-by-side.
Nicely synced up on the side-by-side. You can see there Dylan nice and deep in the lead. Ula not so deep in his lead. And then right there, Dylan nice and deep in outside zone 2. Look at Ula missing outside zone 2. Ula in the chase position right there with the bobble, missing outside zone 3. Dylan mimicking Ula so well, and all Dylan did was put 2 tires off in outside zone 4. So in terms of overall comparison, I think Dylan did a better job despite the 2 tires off. If you look at how many mistakes that Ula made in both the lead and the chase positions.
Yeah, again, the essence of drifting, follow the lead car wherever they go, you follow. Dylan, just keep it on the track.
Yeah.
And that would have been super definitive. Just
exactly.
those two tires off. Again, if that's going into the dirt, it could have disrupted him, but he fortunately goes in the pavement. Unfortunately for Ola Jaeger, just too many mistakes in the chase position, not filling those zones. Dylan did go off course, but that's pretty much it. So Dylan Hughes does get the victory. He advances on. Dylan Hughes gets the win. The Royal Purple, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Falcon Tires, BMW advances on the Dozer continues to plow his way through competition.
In a way, Dylan got lucky on that run that his competitor was making those errors. So going forward, he's going to have to clean that up. He's going to have to do as well as he was doing, plus stay on the track in Zone 4.
Justin Pawlak, Dean Kearney. This is the second half of this battle. Now keep in mind, we saw this is a replay of what went down. So there goes Justin Pawlak initiating. And the judges, Ryan, you and the judges came to the conclusion that basically Justin Pawlak was at fault because he did not stay on the throttle. Look at that. You see him slow, he hits, he debeats, he's at fault.
Yeah, so that is an important area. I mean, it's lining up the rest of the course. You need to be on throttle through that area, and it looks like he was not. It looked like Dean Kearney didn't have really anywhere to go in that position, in that situation, so made contact with him. We know that Dean Kearney's an aggressive driver. He's not going to give you an inch, and if you slow down where you're not supposed to, he's going to be right there to bump into you.
I have a feeling this is going to be a very aggressive battle. Justin knows that, look, he's a bit of at a deficit here. He's definitely at a deficit. He's going to throw down, but Dean, he's hungry. He's he's been working hard, him and his team on the car. Now going to that second outside zone. Doesn't get all the way out there. Justin Pawlak just
little rub.
Oh, look at that. Giving him some love tap, rubbing that Falcon tire into the door in the high NFT. Big angle there from Justin Pawlak. And you saw him grip up. Doesn't get to the outside zone. It wasn't exactly the most perfect line by Dean Kearney as well.
And look, JTP had to get ahead of him around.
Yeah. Justin drives with such emotion. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And he knows what he needs to do. He's let's take a look at it again.
Let's take a look, Jared. So on initiation, let's see how Dean Kearney gets the car to angle. Nice snap initiation there. Right on the line through outside zone 1. You can see JTP not quite in outside zone 1. Right there, Dean Kearney doesn't go deep in outside zone 2, and you can see that JTP was slightly inside compared to him. And then the big transition here, JTP barely held on to that one. That was close. He rotated to a very high degree of angle right there and could have easily over-rotated, but caught it and made it through the rest of the run.
And Dean eventually pulls to the line. We saw Justin Pawlak quickly snap around, not going all the way to the orange cone. That's kind of what we requested, but all right, so slide him left for Pawlak, right for Dean Kearney. Now remember, Justin Pawlak had that deficit, so Dean Kearney gets the win. Unfortunately, the Falcon Tires Ford Mustang. Let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel, who's with Frederick Aasbo.
Well, Frederick Aasbo qualified 11th, which is unusually low for him. And he said he had a few curveballs thrown at him. It started to rain, and then he saw Matt Field go into the wall, so he had to battle through that. Now, the storyline that we're all talking about is him battling Chelsea Denofa in the top 32. So, Frederick, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that'll be one hell of a battle. Chelsea and I have battled many times. It's gone back and forth. And Chelsea's, as you guys all know, he's one of those guys that will turn it up to 11. And when he sticks it, it's absolutely amazing. So I think this will be an epic battle.
In prior events, you've mentioned that warrior mindset. So do you feel like you're finding it, or are you there?
I tend to get back into that warrior mindset throughout the competition, and we were struggling a little bit here Thursday during qual, like you were mentioning. So was Chelsea, and it's coming back now. That maybe that Viking blood is in there somewhere.
Frederick, thanks.
Thank you,
guys.
Thank you so much, and still with a smile on his face, he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to kill you softly. Here we go." I don't know why he turned
Why
Russian.
it was Russian there,
I don't.
yeah.
Shush! I'm bad at accents, bro. Like I can't do everything perfect. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I can't do accents perfectly.
We have high expectations for you.
Jonathan Hurst, yeah. Jonathan Hurst and Chris the Force Forsberg, and the pride
I'm going
of
to crush him.
I will splash the pot. Give the man his monies. And here we go with Jonathan Hurst, the AZ Rags Cash Racing BMW, against Chris Forsberg, who we thought was out. It was a scratch. Nope. Guess what? That all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z is back at it, like a track addict. Now into that second outside zone, and Forsberg comes in hot. Looks like we got a little tire contact there. The GT radial's going to the side. It looks like Forsberg shuts it down. Don't know exactly what the problem was previously, but it might be suspension related, it might be power. Regardless, seems that was a little unharnessed for Forsberg to go into the side of Jonathan Hurst.
It didn't look like Forsberg had everything in that car from initiation to outside zone 2. It looked like it was hurt. It didn't look like it was full power going to the ground. And then when he got into that area right there, it looked like he couldn't slow the car down and get back on throttle. It looked like it wasn't really working very well. So let's look at the initiation. See, his initiation was late. It wasn't ideal. His line was very poor. He had angle issues there. So it looks like the car is having trouble putting power down, and he's not able to run the wide line and really stay in proximity. So in this situation, I would put Forsberg 100% at fault for that contact right there, just because of his poor line through that area. So let's look at it again. As you see, Forsberg initiating a little bit late and not really putting on any pressure whatsoever, not able to run the right line and just going on a tighter line there. It looked like he needed to carry a lot of momentum as the car couldn't slow down and then power back up. So trying to keep that momentum caused him to make contact with Hurst and then not being able to get back on throttle. So
and
so
we
Forsberg
are hearing
is gone.
that. Yeah, he's just calling it. He's not calling a competition time. Well,
he doesn't have one.
He doesn't have one. So Forsberg's limping his way back to his pits, but a valiant effort to him and his team. You know, early on, like you said, and you were told by a spotter saying he's out. So we started that on the front end. So it's tried, you know, zip ties and bubble gum to get that thing back together, but still just a great program, debuting a new car, and still, you know, coming into this round of competition, Forsberg is sitting third. So going out in 32, that's obviously going to have repercussions, but Jonathan Hurst gets the victory as he takes his victory lap, one of the loudest vehicles in the Formula Drift grid. Jonathan Hurst, that AZ Rags Cash Racing BMW, gets the victory over the three-time champ. And Hurst will go against Gushi in the top 16. A little shaka being thrown there by the pride of Paducah, Jonathan Hurst. And here we are. You can see Hurst is going to make his way across that start line, grab our cameras, and our next battle in the Rockstar Energy. Top 32, Rome Charpentier, who got second place at our previous round, New Jersey, and Brandon Sorensen, 17 years old from Las Vegas, Nevada. So a couple West Coast boys making their way to the gateway to the West. Rome Charpentier and Brandon Sorensen. Rome, the Garagistic BMW. And there's Brandon Sorensen with that United States Air Force BMW. The Pedal Commander burnout box making his way. Here it comes. Just a real rising star in that BMW. Here is how our top 16 is shaping up. You can see Taguchi Power, Meyer Sharifo, Field Jones, Bakchis, Noback, Kearney Masuyama, Gushi versus Hurst, and Hughes versus one of these gentlemen. Charpentier and Sorensen. Charpentier will lead, qualified 14th. Sorensen qualifying 19th, fairly equally matched. So just in the vicinity of where they qualified, where they're at, one and done. They did not have to go to their second run in order to make it into head-to-head. And here we go into this battle. Rome Charpentier across the nose of that BMW of Brandon Sorensen into the second outside zone. Gives Modern's hell. That's what he said. That's exactly what he's doing, trying to do right now against Brandon Sorensen. But Brandon giving it right back into that E36. And across the finish line goes Rome. Brandon not exactly getting all the way out into outside zone 4. What are your thoughts here, Ryan? Taking a look, we'll bring that up again. Take a look at the replay, but Rome, watch Rome here.
Big flick right there from Rome in lead position. You can see that Brandon wasn't really in outside zone 1, on the same line as Rome, and then again in outside zone 2. Rome was fairly deep there. I think he did a little bit better in this area. And then right there, Rome's coming through 4, and you can see Brandon in the chase position, a couple of bobbles there, not really going as wide as Rome. So I think we'll get a better view of the difference in line here. You can see that Brandon's way inside on outside zone 1, doesn't get anywhere near it. And then through outside zone 2, sort of the same story. Rome is out in 2 and Brandon is not. Through number 3 there, you can see that Brandon's just slightly inside, but much better proximity right there. And again, Brandon never gets into zone 4 while Rome is in 4 nicely. So definitely some opportunities here for Rome to do a better job in the chase position to win that chase-to-chase comparison. And in the lead position, Brandon is going to have to put his car as deep as Rome or better to win the lead-to-lead comparison.
All right, Brandon, let's see what you got. Going against Rome Charpentier, like I said, he's got the momentum coming from New Jersey. Brandon puts it all in that outside zone 1. Big angle from Sorensen and still gets it out to outside zone 2. Looks like Rome has to back off a little bit, compromises some proximity. Now finally into outside zone 4. Did Brandon do what he needed to do? Did Rome deliver in that chase position? Let's see what we got. Got just a few more battles after this. Again, we saw each vehicle lead. We got 2 more battles, Ryan Tuerck versus Joao Barion, and we got Frederick Aasbo versus Denofa for the final battle. Lorette did a great job hyping that thing up, getting some words with Frederick Aasbo. And Aasbo giving respect where respect is due, but still, he says Viking blood. Giving a little wave. Here we go. Let's look at it again, side by side.
All right, one eye on each screen, everyone. Looking at the comparison here, you can see that in the chase position, both Rome and Brandon cheated, compromised, in outside zone number 2, which is an important area there. And then through outside zone 4, they both kind of did the same thing through outside zone 4 as well. So they both had some compromises in both positions. You can see here that Brandon was not super deep in outside zone 2, but Rome was kind of nowhere near it. So definitely some errors from both drivers through those areas.
All right, so we are waiting for the verdict here. We've seen a fire extinguisher? Seen smoke there, Sopa, or you just too hot for the film, man? You just, camera's gonna break. You're just too smoking hot, Sopa. All right, so let's see. Slide him left for Rome, right for Brandon Sorensen. Do we have a verdict?
We have a city skyline.
We have the beautiful St. Louis Arch. Rome Charpentier, Brandon Sorensen. Who's moving on? Who's going against Dylan Hughes, winner in Florida? Florida, welcome to my house. Derek Madison's house. He's the most hometown boy. And we are getting an update on Forsberg. I guess he lost his cylinder, had 2 turns, and then burns as all right, it is unanimous. One more time, your justification here, Lantain.
Yeah, they made a lot of the similar errors in the lead and chase positions. They placed their cars in similar areas. They missed the same zones pretty much in the chase position, while the lead positions were fairly similar as well. So just too close to call with those similar mistakes from start to finish.
I like it, and I agree with it. Just
Thank you, Jared.
Nothing, no big deal as far as, no big X factor here. So Ryan Tuerck will lead. He says he's not completely happy with this qualifying run, and I know that he was having issues with his nitrous early on, but now the Rockstar Energy Drink Top 32. Ryan Tuerck, winner at round 1. Coming to this round of competition, sitting 4th in points, and with Chris Forsberg going out early. Here we go, Ryan Tuerck, Joao Barion from Brazil. That Rain-X Toyota GR Corolla on Ditto tires. Now coming to the second outside zone. Joao Barion taking that inside line, that Monster Energy Barbarius Corvette, and now into outside zone 3, quickly exiting, and then into outside zone 4. Goes that Papadakis Racing Toyota GR Corolla. What's the 4-in-1? Well, it's on the roof, courtesy of Race Service and Ornamental Conifer, and it looks like it's going to be a dominant way to begin the first portion of this battle.
Yeah, it looked like Joao put his car not in the right position there through outside zone 1 to outside zone 2. He was quite a bit inside there trying to sneak his way through, but I don't think he quite got the car on the right line through that area. As you can see, he worked his way slightly into outside zone 1 while Ryan Tuerck filled it. Same thing for outside zone 2. Ryan Tuerck filled outside zone 2, and you can see he was way inside there. Definitely not where he should be placing his car. He's not mimicking the lead, and he's way offline. And that's not ideal from Joao. And then the proximity dropped off at that point as well. So you can see that Joao at initiation was quite a bit inside, or right there, and it didn't allow him to get the car all the way wide. And then right here, the error that he made is a big one right there. The lack of line and then the angle as well. So Ryan Tuerck definitely has a big advantage here. And the thing is, when you put Joao in the lead position, he tends to do better in the lead. He's able to run a cleaner line. So Ryan Tuerck's going to have to mimic what he's doing wherever he goes to win the chase-to-chase comparison.
Trying to recount if these guys have gone against each other previously, but Ryan Tuerck, can he progress on? Will Ryan Tuerck maintain his position? Will he advance? He's got to go against this Brazilian driver in a new Corvette for him. Ryan Tuerck, the Rockstar energy drink driver, into that first outside zone. He's going to chase him down, and he tucks right into that smoke, even though the bumper is in his face. Now in the second outside zone, digging deep. Here's a shovel. Can he dig it? Yes, he can. Right into that third outside zone. Feeling the flow. Joao Barion, like you said, stronger in that lead position, but Ryan Tuerck, everywhere he goes, up until that last outside zone. But is that enough? We're going to have to take a look at the instant replay. Tail of the tape. Go high, eye in the sky. Go high above the clouds that these cars are kicking off. Is Ryan Tuerck going to advance? Is Joao Barion going to show up on that second run? All signs are saying Ryan Tuerck delivered, but let's take a look at that outside zone 4.
As we look at the initiation, nice snap to initiation from Joao, and he did an okay job in outside zone 1. Ryan Tuerck's right there with him as they transition to outside zone 2. Joao's doing a pretty good job of getting into outside zone 2 there. Outside zone 3, he leaves a little bit early. Ryan Tuerck's right next to him, and as they come to outside zone 4, it looked like Joao put a lot of wheel speed under that car as he lit him up over the finish line. So we see it from the speedy drone here. Joao did a pretty decent run on outside zone 1, left it slightly earlier than Ryan Tuerck did on his lead. And then as they come to zone number 2, you can see that Joao was slightly off of the wall there. I think Tuerck was deeper, and Tuerck in the chase is right with him. He's mimicking his line everywhere he goes. And as they come to outside zone 4, Tuerck was a little bit off there, and Joao just laid down a huge plume of smoke from that Corvette.
Yeah, it seemed that going into outside zone 3, just Joao filled it, but didn't have the exact angle, so it's hard to tuck into that if you don't have that angle. But there it is. He had to win, and he gets the win. Ryan Tuerck advances from 32 into 16, and that will have implications because right in front of him was his Drift Alliance brother. That is Chris Forsberg, but that goes out the window. So the Rain-X Toyota GR Corolla, the Rockstar driver, Ryan Tuerck advances on into the 16. He'll be going against either his Rockstar energy drink teammate Frederick Aasbo or Chelsea Denofa, that man right there. Here it is. We do have a one more time battle of Rome Charpentier and Brandon Sorensen. This was to be the final battle 32, but we will go back to that. But right now, Frederick Aasbo, the defending and 2-time champion from Ski Norway, will go against Chelsea Denofa in his Ford Mustang. So Frederick Aasbo piloting that Rockstar Energy Toyota GR Supra against that of the Pennzoil RTR Spec 5D on Nitto tires. So both these guys on Nitto tires, 2 different energy drinks. You got kind of JDM, Norwegian driver versus All-American Chelsea Denofa. This should be a really fun one to watch. Both these guys are going for it. Say Chelsea's a bit of a wild card. Frederick a little more kind of, you know, concise and a little more not calculated, but then just I say that Chelsea goes for it into the dirt, now into that second outside zone. Frederick Aasbo looks like he might have kissed the wall, exchanged some gold on the wall into that third outside zone, and now in through that brown cloud. The Mummy does not get him, and now through and passing that finish line. Well done. Make some noise for Frederick Aasbo and Chelsea Denofa.
You could tell that big cloud of dust affected them coming back through outside zone 3 to outside zone 4. Aasbo was tentative going through there. He was like, not really sure. You could tell that he transitioned a little bit later than he would have. Probably pretty blind through that cloud of dust blown up by one Chelsea Denofa. So initiation right there. Great initiation. Chelsea goes wide very, very late there beyond outside zone number 1, but manages to kind of get back online for outside zone number 2 and 3, and then they go into no man's through there, and you can see, you can definitely see that that Aasbo in the lead position there was playing it safe, and it kind of, you know, in the chase position, you've got Chelsea not sure what he's going to do, and he was sort of hesitant behind him, but that's a dangerous proposition there going through that dust, not being able to see. But Chelsea definitely at a deficit here for throwing up that cloud, going through outside zone 1 and beyond with a tire in the dirt.
Yeah, it looked like a battlefield when they went from 3 to 4. They were just like, again, a dogfight, just bobbing and weaving into that final outside zone. Really well done by both the drivers. And I was talking about, you know, Chelsea Denofa respectively a wild card. Again, he goes for it. He really likes to leave it all out on the track, and that's why I just overcooked it quite a bit, exceeding that first outside zone. Now he's got the clean air. He's out front. How is Frederick Aasbo going to handle it as our track cleaner coming out on course? And seeing if, again, that dust.
Ooh, that's a lot of dust.
Yeah, that is a considerable amount, and that's gonna change things up. But did a good job there, cleaning that up. All right, so we're gonna need him to.
Focus on his job and stop hamming it up for the camera.
Yeah, let's
for the drone.
Let's get this thing cleared. All right, while we're cleaning the track, let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel, who's with our most recent winner, Lorette.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ryan Tuerck, sorry for interrupting. Down here, he was just watching the live stream, and congratulations on your top 32 win. So moving forward into top 16, how is everything feeling and working for you?
I mean, everything feels great. The car is awesome. The team's been working hard, obviously, like everybody is out here to give me the best car possible. And it feels really comfortable to drive. Changing conditions out there with track temps coming down and maybe some added grip. But yeah, felt good. There's a couple things I need to do better out there, especially if I'm going to be running Chelsea or my teammate Frederick here. So I'm hoping we'll get a good strategy together for either of those guys and go out there and put it down. Okay,
what do you feel like you have to clean up?
Just a couple areas of the track that I wasn't super confident on, so I just need to work past that and just lay it in there. Really just clean up my line.
Okay, and a lot of obstacles out here with the heat and that smoke line, so how are you fighting through those?
Yeah, the smoke line's tough out here, especially with that new outer zone too. It's definitely creating a lot more difficulty, but you just got to be in that right position behind the car to transition with them and just snap right through it. So the quicker you come through that cloud, is the better you'll be.
Okay, Ryan, thank you very much.
Being wildly vague there is Ryan Tuerck, and we were kind of calling that. It's like, you know what? Here's my cards.
Keep them close to my chest, I believe.
Yeah. Nope, just here you go. And peeking over there. And, you know, if you say the word watermelon, I just have a frightening freeze. I come to a frightening halt. Watermelon. All right, here we go. Let's see how Chelsea Denofa and Frederick Aasbo, who's going against Ryan Tuerck in the next battle. Chelsea Denofa initiates, definitely not flirting with the dirt in there. Now into that second.
Wow.
Oh, boy. No, it's not flirting with the grass. He's not flirting with the dirt. He's going into the grass. Landscaping, courtesy of Denofa Landscaping Services. Near and wide, we will trim your lawn on both sides as Frederick Aasbo finishes it out, and Frederick Aasbo will continue. So unfortunately, that Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5D on Nitto tires. What went wrong for Denofa? Unfortunate for him, man. That was very unlike Denofa.
When he was interviewed earlier, Aasbo said Chelsea is a great driver. He turns it up to 11, and when it sticks, it's amazing. But what he didn't do is complete that sentence, which is, but when he turns it up to 11 and it doesn't stick, it falls apart a little bit. And this is, I think, turning up to 11 because he knew he needed to.
Right.
And it just went a little over angle here, and he couldn't bring it back on throttle as hard as he could, and the car just kept rotating, couldn't get it to transition. And Aasbo avoids collision with him and stays out of the way, and then continues his run. And you could tell that, you know, Aasbo, with his the experience that he has, could see that happening, and he just kind of distanced himself a little bit. So let's watch it from the speedy drone here to give us another perspective on this. And watch Aasbo in the chase. He isn't in outside zone 1 initially, but he just kind of stays back enough that he's not in harm's way there.
And we are waiting for the results. I think you know the outcome. Let's just make it official. Slide him left for Aasbo, right for Denofa, and all of them will go to Frederick Aasbo. Gets the win. The Norwegian Hammer, the Viking Spirit, as he said, takes him to the top. The Rockstar Energy Toyota GR Supra gets the win, and he'll be going against his Toyota Rockstar Nitto Tire teammate of Ryan Tuerck. So there we go. All right, so Dylan Hughes waits for the winner of this one more time battle. We go back to Rome Charpentier and Brandon Sorensen. Rome Charpentier on the start line. What could potentially be our final battle. Micah, one more time. We will see. TBD.
You watch your mouth over there.
Yeah, you shut your
mouth.
Pretty
talking to me.
little mouth. All right, Rome Charpentier, Garagistic, BMW E36 against Brandon Sorensen, that Air Force. Again, it says give moderns hell. That's what Brandon's looking at the rear wing of Rome Charpentier, but he's saying, nah, not today, Junior. Well, I guess he's the junior. All right, Rome Charpentier in that second outside zone. Brandon taking a shallower line, but does have that proximity into that third outside zone. Brandon Sorensen now tucking in and still shallow into that final outside zone. So Rome, you know, it's all about repetitiveness, kind of duplication, getting getting into repetition, getting that form. And that's, if you can remember, which you won't because you weren't in New Jersey, but Rome did so many battles and he just became really repetitive like a robot. That ended up helping him get his success in his second New Jersey.
Well, as we watch the replay here, Jared, I think Brandon missed most outside zones as he chased behind Rome here. And you can see zone 1, zone 2, he's nowhere to be found. Zone 3, again, not in zone 3 either. Zone 4, as we transition here, he also missed zone 4. So Rome is putting the car in each one of those zones in the lead position, and Brandon is not putting his car in those zones. So proximity was sort of there, but in terms of mimic, definitely not there on any one of the zones. So that is not boding well for Brandon at all. We want to make sure that we watch what happens on the next run here and analyze exactly where Rome is putting his car compared to where Brandon's putting his car. Now, they're both BMWs. You know, you got a newer one versus an older one. Sure, the drivetrains are slightly different in there.
Right.
But you
Both
should be
LS.
able to place your car in the right position behind any car on in this field. And I'm hoping that we can see a clearer victor here.
Don't leave it in the judges' hands. Make it definitive. Brandon Sorensen, who has received so much praise. Big angle from Sorensen. Now coming into that second outside zone. A great long angle there. And now coming into the third outside zone. You can see Brandon, gets in that dirt a little bit, but where's Rome? Rome, he's got to come and play, but he does fill those zones. He's back quite a bit, but we'd like to see him be a little more aggressive in that chase. He knows he's going to have to go against Dylan Hughes, another BMW, another, well, I was going to say LS. Nope, he's 2J.
Yep.
But as far as power plant setup, BMWs, how they act and react. Brandon pops the door. Airs out the smoke. Let's take a look at it again. Eye in the sky here as Brandon out front.
Nice initiation from Brandon. You can see that he's in outside zone 1 in the chase position there. Rome's got his tire in outside zone 1 as well. Maybe not quite as deep. Brandon, decent line through outside zone 2. Again, Rome not in outside zone 2. Rome here falls back a little bit, but he does put his tire in the box just like Brandon did. And through outside zone 4, I think he did a much better job there than Brandon did as well. So it may come down to those errors in the chase position that Brandon performed that will hold him back here in this situation.
Yeah, unfortunately for Brandon, just not, again, aggressive, as well as not the right line for Brandon Sorensen. I think, you know, obviously conversing with you, and that is going to be the deciding factor. Rome Charpentier gets the victory. Rome gets the win and advances on. The Garagistic BMW gets the win. We got a special guest. Don't go anywhere because I have a special guest here who's joining me. Want to wrap out with him, and there is our bracket, and boom, drop in Rome Charpentier next to Dylan Hughes. Our 16 is Forged, and guess what? Again, our special guest, and we do have a halftime break, but right now I'm bringing in our special guest here, and we're going to wrap out. Go ahead and grab a seat, and we're going to be wrapping out with, I believe it's Trey Reckel. Did I pronounce Becker? Excuse me. Okay, somebody wrote that. I apologize. Trey Becker. Is that Trey Becker? Trey, come on back here a little bit. We're going to jump on camera here, and we're going to talk about your role and what you do, because you're representing the University of Northwestern Ohio, and you support Formula Drift. What is the University of Northwestern Ohio, if nobody's ever heard of it?
You may not have heard of us, but we hope that you've seen us somewhere in motorsports. UNOH is actually an industry leader in high-performance motorsports education. So we've been involved in motorsports in all the major areas, and this is our first year to jump in with Formula Drift.
Well, it's cool. Yeah, I saw some of your students came up here yesterday. They know the sport. They're very familiar with it. Saw you and your students down near the scales yesterday going up there. And what kind of role does Formula Drift and drifting play for UNOH? Not just a sponsor, but also follow through and students and kind of education and all that.
You know, in education, our job is to help our students turn their passion into a career. So we work closely with them to get them out to real-world settings, just like here at the track this weekend, to help them get used to that environment, right? Rub elbows with the stars that they're going to be working with one day.
Yeah, and you talk about, you know, when it comes to schools and trade schools, there's many different options, but UNOH is all about high performance as well, and there's many different roles. Again, not just, you know, busting knuckles and working on high-performance vehicles, but there's many different facets that UNOH offers as well.
The motorsports industry is huge, and we all know it's a family, but there's a lot of different roles that it takes to keep that industry running. So not only do we have the technician and the high performance and automotive and diesel type degrees, but we also have the very first motorsports marketing degree.
I love that.
So imagine being able to study to work for one of these major companies, like all these great partners that represent the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I know that role. I mean, I'm just the announcer. I'm a big dude. I barely fit in the cars. These are very soft hands. I don't work on them. So marketing is a very integral role in motorsports. You got to look at behind the scenes, not just about the driver. You have your technicians, you have your crew chiefs, you have all the different facets, and marketing is a major role in all this. I mean, without the sponsors and without the communications and all the teams going through this. Anything else you kind of want to offer up that I maybe didn't kind of pose a question to you? And then how do people find out more information about the school that is UNOH?
Yeah, you mentioned the marketing degrees. We talked a lot about the hands-on stuff. If somebody wants to be hands-on, building these cars, working for the race teams, or like any of the major series that run here at Worldwide Technology Raceways, they can come out to our hands-on programs there in Lima, Ohio. They want to take the online stuff. We offer that from your home, whether it's in your basement or right there in the living room. And you can go online to unoh.edu and tell them you heard about it at Formula Drift.
Well, thank you so much, Trey, and thank you for your support of Formula Drift, and thank you for kind of, you know, obviously just with technology, the progression of it all, and getting your hands dirty and also educating your minds in something that you're passionate about. So I think it's really great that you and your team and your school is just dropping some knowledge on kind of some young, supple minds that are wanting to get involved, man. So thank you so much.
That's what it's all about. We're excited to be here. Thank you guys.
So again, unoh.edu, get some information, get your hands, get your mind right. Thank you so much for UNOH and their support. Remember, we'll be back here local time 8 o'clock, looking at that dial at 7:05 p.m. So you got 55 minutes. Take a breather, because guess what? When we come back, you're going to need to wear a hard hat, because we're about to blow your mind. Top 16 is the next stop on this Formula Drift party train, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. We call this the Crossroads here at Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois, in the shadow of the St. Louis Arch, just across the MISSIPPI River. We'll see you back here in just about an hour.